I actually attribute a lot of my life to you in a sense.
What?
No, you may not.
Don't live like him.
No. You were an excellent manager, man. Like everyone just like you built a team of people that trusted you, and you didn't have to micromanage them because you hired very specifically. And then at the same time, it makes me reflect on, like yourself, single dad. Like how are you paying bills? How are you going to work? How are you doing all these things when you're doing it by yourself?
Prioritizing the care for your children with other priorities, caring for your children.
Yeah. Which one's more about, like which one's more important at what time? Yeah, so the order of the priorities is so important.
And when they have girlfriends, I'll be like, and they want to maybe move out, I'll be like, no, move in. That's my plan. I'm gonna let them move in.
In a world that often celebrates strength in silence, one man stands not just as a protector, but as a guide. Not just as a provider, but as a presence. This is for the single fathers, the quiet warriors, the bedtime story champions, the lunch packing, heart mending, never quitting legends. Welcome to Eternal Fatherhood, the podcast where fatherhood isn't just a role, it's a legacy. Here we talk real moments, real struggles, and real victories. Because being a great single father isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up, standing tall, and always choosing love. So to every dad on this path, breathe deep, lift your head, and embrace the journey. This is Eternal Fatherhood.
Welcome to Eternal Fatherhood. This is episode number 5 with my dear friend, idiot savant, overall awesome human being, David Horn. Welcome in.
Hey, thanks, Josh. I appreciate you inviting me.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, man. And it's funny. It's kind of one of those things where it's just, men, like we know how to be friends. We haven't seen each other in 10 years or so.
It's been like 14, bro.
Dude, I don't want to say that it's 14. No way.
No, well, see, when I last saw you, I was doing dumb things, as we discussed. Trying to resume my life. And what happened since then, I got married, and he's 12 years old in December. So he wasn't born when I last saw you. So It's been at least 12 years.
Nope, you're completely right.
Yeah, it's been that long. I mean, I texted you a couple times.
We met up once and played pool.
We did meet up once and play pool.
I don't know what year that was or what dimension.
Oh my God, memory is terrible.
It's bad. Concussions are real.
Oh my gosh. We were bringing up concussions earlier before the show. I've had so many concussions, and like you said about the 5 years off your life thing.
Yeah.
It scares me to death, like my kids getting a concussion potentially. And, when I have 4, so some of them are more nimble than each other. They're not all graded equally. One of them, my oldest, I'm like, this kid he literally was using a hoverboard, the ones with just your feet at 2 years old.
That 2 seconds.
Me too.
There's no way.
Straight up, dude.
But you used to skateboard, didn't you?
No.
For some reason, I feel like you skateboarded or BMX'd or did some...
I BMX.
Some Jinko kid stuff.
I did. Jinko kid stuff, definitely the dancing and stuff. But when it comes to... that, like the second I touched a skateboard, I knew this is not for me. I'm going to die right here. And I'm going to bust my butt, and I'm not going to be good at it. Yeah. So I got on one and never tried. Got my son that hoverboard. I took a step on it, and this was like 8 years ago. I was feeling a little more brave.
When you were a young man.
Yes, before $70,000 surgery on this bicep.
Yeah, it does a good implant, though. It almost looks like a real muscle. You should have gotten both done, bro.
I can't flex it as hard. It's like
the silicone doesn't work that well.
When it happened.
I can't imagine. That's pain.
Well, I was trying to dunk a basketball.
No, you weren't.
I was at a kid's jumping place, brain work, altitude trampoline.
Yeah.
So
I knew it wasn't a real court. You're like way too short for that.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. But this one was, it was 12 foot, but I mean, it's a trampoline. And you have to, if you're short like me, you have to plan it, take one bounce, another bounce, and then come up. So I had too much forward momentum, and I saw the goal coming at my face too fast. So I grabbed it with this hand, like looking like this probably. I was like, I tried to slow my whole body down right here, and then twisted this and tried to, and right here I heard pop, 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 4. Felt and heard them. Before I could even let go, I was projecting out surgery, hospital, bills.
The bills.
My life is going to be hell for the next year. And it was. Yeah. Not the next year, probably the next 5 or 6 months. Try doing dishes and laundry for 4 small children with one hand.
I'd be having 4 small servants for about 5, 6 months. There's no way.
Yeah. It was so rough.
How old was the youngest at that time?
The youngest at that time he's 9 now, so he was 6.
6 years old?
He's autistic. He's very much.
So it requires a lot more attention than just your typical 6-year-old.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you can't, when you go to train him for something, one time isn't going to do it. You have to do it with him probably 100 times to build the confidence and just the repetition. My oldest was a big help, but when you have a certain volume, like my grandparents had 9 children technically. One died at birth that was a twin 9. They're Italian.
Yeah.
So, but between the 2 of them, there was 2 parents. And the spectrum of children that they have, they were knocking them out, but just 2 parents, and this very competent, willing, caring parents. Because one of the things that I'm sure if you haven't felt you're going to is this, I feel an extreme jealousy when I see 2 parents working together. Yeah. Not an actual jealousy, but
it's an envy.
Yeah, envy, that's the word. Yeah. And if I see a father, working there with his kids, I kind of expect that because I expect it of myself, even though no one else does. But seeing a father and a mother work together in that moment where either side is losing it, they're just having a moment where it's just a little too much, and the other parent sees it in their eyes, and they're like, oh, I got it, honey. I got it for now. Chill out for a second, So they can finish whatever they're doing. And then you can hand it back and forth, but when you got your hands full, and you really just need to set them down for a second, so you can pee or.
And you're not allowed to.
You're not
allowed to, and that's one of the topics that we wanted to bring up is the different challenges between raising kids as a single mother or a single father. And single fathers, everyone has this similar crossovers as far as the difficulties being a single mother or father, but each one also has unique struggles. Yeah, definitely. And I'm very grateful for my wife. I'm a very methodical person, and to a fault where I feel like I wasted many years of my life doing things a slower way and more of a tortoise in the hare. I was just kind of tortoising my way through life. I was like, I'll get there, guys. Don't worry. But we're not immortal. You do some things, you have to take chances, and sometimes you have to push the ball a little harder. And I definitely didn't do that. I'm 40 now. My daughter was born last December, a month after my 40th birthday. Wow. So 40 years old, very first child. How old is your girl? She is 33. Okay. So pretty typical. Yeah. I think it's a pretty good spread. Yeah. So last year is when my daughter was born. The year before that, I got married. The year before that, I got engaged, and we purchased a house together. So we were dating for 4 or 5 years, something like that. That's a long time. That's awesome. Yeah. So took it really kind of slow but purposeful. Yeah. And it didn't take me that long to realize, I trust this woman, and I feel like we can actually build something together. Yeah. But at the same time, during those years, I was still working on myself. Yeah. So I finished all my schooling, and I got a job that was decent enough to support myself. I bought a new vehicle. I upgraded. Solid, nice. Yeah. So it's a comfortable, reliable car. I was able to do that, and once I got my own life together, no debt. So I paid my way through college, no debt. Wow. Yeah. So bachelor's, master's, everything. That's amazing, dude. I was so lucky in a sense. I worked hard. You're diligent, dude. Yeah, but patient. The last I actually attribute a lot of my life to you in a sense.
What?
No, you may not.
Don't live like him.
No.
Don't do
but
it
seriously,
again.
whenever I was a young man and I was working at Starbucks with you,
Yeah.
you allowed me to work 1 or 2 shifts a week, which was critical to me being able to build up the courage to kind of branch off and create my own business.
Yeah.
So at that time, like I still wasn't completely, didn't have my feet under me, and I was still figuring out how do I start a business? How do I maintain a clients caseloads? How do I grow my business? And I had Starbucks right there to give me that kind of fallback support.
Yeah.
And not every manager would deal with the stuff that I was like, oh, Josh, I just need like a shift or 2 this week. And you're like, yeah, come on by, man, no problem.
Well, you were a fantastic employee, one, and you're a great person. I could trust you. I knew that you'd do your job. I loved all my employees.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do everything I can for them. So
you were an excellent manager, man. Like everyone just like you built a team of people that trusted you, and you didn't have to micromanage them because you hired very specifically. You knew what you wanted and what you needed.
Yeah.
And that trust that you put into me to do my job and to keep giving me a place to go to when I needed it, it was pivotal for me in those times. And then I finally built up the courage to just be like, all right, man, I'm gonna go off now. I'm only working like 1 shift every 2 or 3 weeks.
I remember that. I was sad.
That was rough, man. But it set me on a path to where I was able to build up enough money to pay through college. And that was in my 30s, my early 30s. So I didn't even finish college until I was like 32, 33, something like that.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm one of the only guys in a room full of all these younger people who are just 22-year-olds.
What's your position again?
On
for listeners currently?
Oh, I'm a speech language pathologist.
Okay.
So I work in acute care at a hospital here closer to Galveston.
So what does that involve, speech language pathologist, exactly?
So speech language pathology, whenever people hear that professional title, it's a little misleading. Most people's experience with a speech language pathologist is more, they consider them speech therapists that work in the school setting. So you've probably seen or dealt with speech therapists in the school setting with your son.
Oh yeah, all the time.
And yeah, so I'm actually trained in that. Like I can work with him. Technically, like I have the education to do that, and the understanding of how to deal with kids with autism and other things.
It's incredible, dude.
Yeah, and my initial goal whenever I went into speech pathology was to be that guy. I wanted to work in the schools and be with kids and do that stuff. Yeah,
that's so refreshing.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't hear it from males often. I haven't dealt with.
No, I bet not.
You know,
like I told you earlier, like 97% of the field is all female.
I see.
There's 3% males, and
why do you think that is?
The same reason that lots of caring jobs, education jobs, all that stuff. It's more. It seems to appeal more to females, but then I think at the same time, people don't understand the breadth of our job, of our scope. So I work in a hospital. I work with strokes. I work with dementia, traumatic brain injuries. I work with people that have gunshot victims. I've had lots of just crazy patients over the years. And it's been very fulfilling and very challenging too. But there's more than just dealing with kids. And that's the other thing that's kind of like a misnomer and kind of lends itself to this podcast, is the idea that men can't work with children. Yeah. Which, we get viewed in a almost predatory sense. Like, oh, what's that man doing with my kid?
Yeah. Even if we're being friendly.
Yeah. You can't.
Potentially.
Yeah, exactly. You can be as friendly as you want to be, but they're like, oh, why is he so friendly? There's always that question mark.
There is in my head too.
Yeah. And you're like, yeah. And it's not fair because even, with myself, like whenever I had my business that I talked about, was working with kids. So I was teaching chess programs in schools. Yeah. So I'm working with kids all the time. I'm like, I love this. I love working with kids. I have a good time. And I wanted to be an elementary school teacher. And so I went through lots of education to go to be a teacher. And it's the same thing. There's no dudes. Yeah, there's no males.
No, especially in elementary.
Yeah. And it was hard for me to even like get into study groups because I'll be the only guy there. Yeah. And it's not necessarily that I wasn't welcome, but I didn't want to impose.
I see. Yeah.
And, it's just, it's tough, I think, because, the world needs like more male figures in elementary schools and for kids too. Yeah. And that's what we try and do as fathers. Yeah. We try and be that person and show our kids. And I have a daughter, so showing her what like a strong male figure looks like, and then also just like how to be an empathetic man and human.
That's
and,
a big piece to it.
It's huge.
Empathy.
Yeah. And a lot of times I think men get misconstrued as like we don't have empathy or that we're going to be predatory. But,
you know, both of those things can be true potentially. Yeah. But I mean, traditionally, you know, just going back, man brings home food, woman stays home with babies because you both can't go get food.
Yeah.
You both can't be home with the babies. I mean, that's been the traditional, like projecting it back however many eons ago, you know, and it's changed since then, but still some of the dynamics like that maybe some people think that fathers actually enjoy, like are problematic, like being at work. Mm-hmm. Like I'm at work, we're at work because we have to care and have means for our children and their mother and ourselves. So it's a sacrifice to be at work.
Absolutely.
I'd prefer to be around my children.
You know? Yeah, but that's crazy. A lot of people just don't believe that.
They don't.
That a man wants to be at home with their kids. But that's kind of like you taking it back to that traditional thing of having a 2-person household. Like I said earlier, like I'm very lucky that I do have a wife that I can trust and I love and I rely on. She was after we had Ava in December, she was allowed 6 weeks time off from work, but it was unpaid. So
really,
she's not making any money.
Why?
Yeah. She burns PTO and then she's done. There's no paid leave. So 6 weeks. With my job, I was allowed 12 weeks of paternal leave.
That's a lot.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? So I had 12 weeks, but the way that the system works, it would burn my PTO. So it's still not paid leave. It's PTO leave. So if you don't have any PTO to burn, you have no income.
That's not an option.
That's not an option. And that's one of those things that you can get into if you want to get real political into family and government assistance as far as raising children and how much support should be there paternally and taking maternal leave, whatever.
Yeah.
But I was very lucky that I had enough PTO to cover that time. And I spent the first 6 weeks at home with my wife and we just built like this system. Yeah. It was just
together.
A perfect, just factory system where like we wake up at these times, I have this job, you have this job, and we were just cranking it out and just raising this baby and getting through it. And it's like, we're both new parents. So it's just, you're afraid all the time. You're like, God, everything I'm doing is so small. Oh my God, what are you doing? Like, is she eating enough? I don't know. Is she eating enough? Is her poop supposed to be that color? I don't know what color poop is. And you're sitting there Googling like colors of poop. And you're like, this diaper, is it dirty enough? I don't know. So it's rough, man. But when you have that support there and you're just like, you can bounce these ideas off each other. And like the moment that you described, that point of envy, it happens. That's real life. Like, like you just become overwhelmed in a situation and the cooler head is there to kind of pick up that slack. Yeah.
That knows you. The cooler head that knows when you are having a moment or need a moment.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's something I'm very grateful for. And I just don't know how you do it. I don't know how a lot of these single parents do it. And it's so difficult. And just me going back to work after 6 weeks, there was a transition period of a couple weeks for my wife where she's alone. Like we have this partnership, we have this system that we created that was killing it. We felt we were on top of it, we're handling it. And now all of a sudden it's like, okay, you're alone with the baby. You have to do both these roles. So we probably should have managed that better to where it was more of a transition to where like, here's how you could do this when I'm gone. But instead I was just gone and she's alone. And I felt really bad about that, but there was nothing that we could do. And she rose to the occasion.
Yeah.
She was able to figure it out. And it's definitely like, I see how hard it is on her. But then I just do anything I can to contribute. Like in the mornings, I'll wake up early, I'll wash bottles, I'll prepare stuff for the day, make her a pot of coffee. I'll do whatever I can to make her morning easier when she does wake up. Because when I'm leaving for work, the baby's starting to wake up.
Yeah.
When I get home from work, I immediately try and grab the baby, do what I can to give her a break for a minute. But even in those breaks, she's like, okay, she's running around and she's like washing clothes or washing dishes or doing her stuff. And it's just like, she's not really getting a lot of moments to just kind of hang out.
No.
And in my mind, I recognize the struggle she's going through. And then at the same time, it makes me reflect on, like yourself, single dad, like how are you paying bills? How are you going to work? How are you doing all these things and you're doing it by yourself when there is all those dishes to do, all that laundry to do, and you have this kid to take to this place and this kid to take this place and the special needs child, like you have different considerations, and having that partnership to me is invaluable. I just don't know the struggle is it never ends.
It doesn't
with a partner or without, but even more so without.
Well, I think that goes back to what you were talking about originally when you said that maybe you had waited too long and your first child was 40, you procrastinated, but proof in the pudding, maybe it was absolutely perfect. Maybe you needed just to take that time to find the right woman. Because if we give ourselves time frames to find someone, then we're trying to make things right that aren't, you know? And you took that time. So you had the right girl at the right time with the right person. And the fact that you're thinking about all these things, I'll tell you, 99% of men would have never even thought when I come home, hey, I need to go help out my girl. She's been at home all day with the babies. Let me jump right in and do that.
And I don't think that's true. I think that more men think that way than the world wants us to think.
Maybe that's
so. I think there's
accurate,
I think there's more fathers out there who are eager to get home, kind of like you even said, like you don't want to be at work all day. You want to spend that day with your kids.
I do. Yeah.
And the same with me. Like I feel like, especially with all the research saying, like in the first 3 years of development, like the attachment that you form with your kid during that time, it's everything.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. So as far as setting them, it's make them confident, make them comfortable, make them feel secure in the world. You need to establish a relationship within that first 3 years with that child. And I think in my current situation, we were a 2-income household.
Mm-hmm.
And now with the baby, we are now a single income household. And it's just
tough.
me.
That's tough.
Yeah, so it's a hit, right?
Mm-hmm, for sure.
So we have to make certain sacrifices and kind of plan our finances a little bit better and keep it a little tighter.
Yeah.
But I would rather do that and give my wife the opportunity, even though it's a double-edged sword, the opportunity and the burden of being home all day, every day with that baby.
Yes.
But for the child's sake, and then for also, I think, her being able to be there for our kid it's a gift.
It is.
And
it is.
As a father and the provider, I'm kind of denied that.
To a degree you are.
Yeah.
Just by circumstance, not by choice or anything else, just circumstance.
What else could you do?
Exactly.
You have to make money.
Yeah.
I just read the other day, it's estimated, I think, for babies, it's $30,000 a year.
I think that's cheap. That's on the cheap end. There's monies that aren't ever accounted for. Like for instance, the cost of you not being able to take some time to yourself or to feed yourself properly or to care for yourself properly, because the first priority is your children, and that is the right thing to do.
Well, airplane rule, right?
Yeah.
That you got that airplane protocol. You have to put the mask on yourself first before you put the mask on the kid.
That's true. And then that thought like plagues, I think, any parent who just plagues it, because you're always wondering. For instance, my 2 oldest boys, sometimes they bicker. Sometimes when it gets too much, sometimes I have to break it up, but sometimes I have to let it go. Yeah. Sometimes there's an issue going on with one of my children, like maybe their tummy's bothering them. But, I've got to take my medication, pay rent, get the trash, make sure I have dinner ready, so, and then you start asking yourself, okay, am I doing the wrong thing?
Priority wise, right?
Yes, prioritizing. Yeah. Prioritizing the care for your children with other priorities, caring for your children.
Yeah. Which one's more about, which one's more important at what time? Yeah, yes. So the order of the priorities is so important.
Yeah.
But you can't second guess yourself. Once you start going down that route, you're like, okay, I just got to get this done so that this can be done next. It's all in order of, it's a domino effect of priorities. Yeah. And that hurt tummy, it's like, that sucks, man. Here's some Pepto. Daddy's gonna wash a dish now so that you can eat later. It's tough. And I like what you were saying about when the kids are bickering. sometimes you got to break it up if it reaches a certain point.
Yeah.
But also you let them sit in it and deal with it, because that's a skill. You have to learn that skill. You have to resolve that issue, and you have to know how to do it in the right way.
Yeah.
The closest comparison I have to that with my 6-month-old baby is she's gotten to where she's flipping over on her belly a lot. So, and she's always had this a bit, like she'll kind of flip over, like she's been doing it for a while, but she'll get her arm under her in a weird way, and then she can't roll back over, and she just gets so mad. She's like, this is involuntary tummy time and I'm not having it. And then she's just stuck, and she starts crying. And then so my wife and I were like, how long do we let her cry and sit there until she figures out, move your arm upwards, get it out from, like, you get, like, these are skills, right? So she's got to learn, like, get your arm out of the way, and then you can roll over, and then everything's fine. So you let her cry for a little while, and then if she's just not getting it, we'll go in there and just move her arm up, and then she just bloop, rolls over. And we're like, all right.
That's the perfect way to go about it. You know, humans don't come with instruction manuals. You know, no, I guess nothing living does. But when I left the hospital first with my first baby, and they're like, here you go. Here's your paperwork. Here you go. You know, they don't leave you with no instructions. There's nothing. And we have the internet and YouTube now. Yeah. Like let's rewind this back like just 20 years ago. Like, who do you, and this was a point I kind of want to make. Where do you get your information from as a parent?
Grandma.
Exactly. What if they're dead?
Grandpa. And then grandpa's like, I don't know, I was in the fields all day.
Pretty like, much,
yeah.
Well, for me, you brought up, you know, the economic part of balancing, like, who's going to watch your kids and losing that income. Well, here's what I've noticed, that I'll remove all of the politics from it and just make it pragmatic, because this is what I see. I am a 47-year-old male. My oldest child, right? Dirt old. My oldest one's 14. I can't wait for him to have grandchildren. But if
you can wait, you can wait a few years. I want a
baby. I love babies.
He's 14.
Well, I have to wait a few years.
I mean, anything can happen, and that goes back to your. You got to raise him right, or else you're gonna be a grandpa real soon.
Yes, and I'm very open with all my children about all my mistakes and all the things I would have done differently. Because you have to be, you know, you have to be, because you're wrong. You have to be wrong to learn what's right. But what I was going to say was the difference in having, and I'm guessing that you don't have this currently, but a girl that I was with last night, my cousin's sister, and her 2 little 3-year-old twins, they had the mother, the father, the 2 3-year-old twins, which is a handful, but then they had grandmother with her.
Yeah, that's nice.
So, you know what I mean? I see your eyes now.
That's nice.
I see your eyes, because my mother, and love her, I miss you, mother, but why couldn't you have lived longer?
Yeah.
You know? Why couldn't you have lived another? But
yeah, it's a hard hit. And it's for us, my wife's from Florida. Yeah. So her family in Florida.
All of them.
All of them. And my parents are in Nacogdoches. And
just might as well be Florida.
Might as well be. In a lot of ways. Yeah. But both sets of grandparents adore Ava. Like, they love our kid. They are, you know, they send their love and support every day.
That's awesome.
But thoughts and prayers don't
change the diapers.
Don't change the diapers. They sure don't. They don't do much. They're not wiping butts. Yeah. So we appreciate it, and they come and visit as much as they can. But it's still it's too far. Yeah. So we have to, and that's back to the support system. Yeah. We have to rely on each other. And it's just very lucky that she's able to be there all day. And I have other friends, just like you said, like your friend had their grandma in the house. That's the way it's kind of supposed to be.
That's the way it's always been.
Right? I think that's how it's supposed to be.
That's the way it's always been.
Like, you should never be the one to change the first diaper. Grandma does it, and she's like, you hold a nappy like this. Yes. I don't know why I use the British term for diaper, nappy, but all of a sudden we have nappies and crumpets. So
just need tea. Wait, it's right here.
Oh, there it goes. But it's no one was there to show us how to do that. We just did it, man. Like, it's. And you know, that's a little unfair in a sense. Like, my parents were there. Yeah. They came. They were in that hospital because the labor was 24 hours plus. Like, it was brutal.
Oh, your poor wife. That's
rough. Man, she
and
was,
you. I mean, you know, because you're sitting there supporting her the whole time.
Yeah, like a helpless, like
You're like, how you feeling? You good?
You good?
You good?
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go eat dinner, but it's like it's so bad. Like you can't do anything. You're just watching this whole show, and it's just trying to support. But my family was there. They the whole time they were just ready to meet this child, and they were so supportive. And man, it was so great.
I bet.
But
what was the moment like?
Which moment?
The first time your baby was in your arms. Was it mind blowing?
Oh man, it was absolutely terrifying. It wasn't too dissimilar to my reaction whenever my wife told me that she was pregnant.
Not bad.
So she's a little bit of a TikTok brain. So like anything she sees on TikTok, she's like, oh, well, that's how things are supposed to be. I'm like, life isn't TikTok. And so she tried to TikTok me, and she made like this super cute box to like introduce me and be like, oh, hey, I'm pregnant, like just surprise kind of thing. And like she did so many cute things. She bought like this little onesies and just like,
y'all are very thoughtful.
I hope so.
You are.
We try to support each other and like keep the love real and to express that love, because you can love someone and not express it in any way.
It doesn't feel like love.
And it doesn't feel like love. They're not feeling it from you, and then things can kind of melt away from there. But she did all these things, and I think she wanted this big TikTok reaction, like me to cry or me to be like, oh my God, babe, we're having yay, and then pick her up and swing through the air, and then we like, I don't know what we do. But that didn't happen. She like showed me, and I was like, I don't know what to. I literally, my exact words were, I don't know what to do.
You didn't know what to think at the moment.
Yeah,
You're trying to.
I was like, what do I do?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what to do.
What's actionable here?
Yeah, exactly. Because like the pragmatic side of things, like I'm very pragmatic. I'm the tortoise.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh God, dang! Like now I don't know what to do. Like now I have to do this. I have to plan my finances. I have to talk to work. I have to see what my leave time is. How does PTO work? How does any of this work? I don't know any of this. How do you go to the doctor for a baby? Like how do you get to the gyno? Like the OBGYN? Like how do you do any of this? How much is insurance going to cover? Do we have insurance right now? Like everything was just chaos. And I was like, I was trying to solve every one of those problems within that 5-second span.
It's overwhelming.
That's overwhelming. And you don't have these answers. And the thing is, like, I hate this, but it's like where we weren't trying to get pregnant, but at the same time, we weren't trying not to get pregnant.
Exactly. I know exactly what you mean.
Right. When I hate when people are like, oh, we just, whatever happens, happens.
It was a mistake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah. And so ours was definitely not a mistake because of how we planned everything, got the house, got the marriage, got all the stuff ready.
Yeah.
Everything's ready.
I could tell.
So we were ready.
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay, let's just, be ready.
Yeah.
We weren't ready.
That goes back to, are you ever ready? What does ready mean?
I think, man, you just got to build that infrastructure. You build as much infrastructure as you can.
Yeah.
So you can be outwardly ready. Everything looks, it's prepared. You have a crib, you got all the things, but man, that mindset, you do not have that mindset until you have that baby. And even then you're growing that mindset as the baby. You're just playing catch up.
You are the whole time.
The baby's always winning.
This is an experiment, really more so for when a child is born, the experiment is really the parent, not the child.
Yeah.
Because the experiment is, how are you going to react? The child's going to do based upon its environment, but how will the parent handle the new situation of the child? That's the dynamic that's complicated.
You got to think like the majority of babies are all going to be on the same kind of growth line, like these milestones. So babies have milestones for reasons, and they're going to get to that milestone. Like that's their goal. And your job is to get them to that milestone.
Absolutely.
And you're just like, God, I don't know. Like how are we gonna get to that milestone? I don't know. Like it's just, they're going to keep progressing, and you're going to keep chasing. And you're just trying to keep up with their growth.
Yep.
And you're like, when do I even start giving this baby solids to eat? I'm like, okay, well, don't choke on this piece of like, what are you doing?
Please don't choke.
Please don't choke. Please. And then you can't control it.
You can't.
But it's just all about timing and making wishes.
There's this old stupid movie with Steve Martin in it that I only remember because of the title. It stuck with me. It's called Parenthood.
Is it with him and the 3 black kids?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Parenthood.
Yeah.
I remember hearing I was like, wait, you mean childhood? No, parenthood. What's parenthood?
Yeah.
That was the first time it dawned on me at my 12 years old. I'm like, oh, wait, you have to think about being a parent.
At 12, that's impressive, though.
I knew I was in a little private Christian school my mother could afford for a short period of time. And we went, I was probably 11 actually when this happened. And we went on a little trip down to the center of Houston to look at the historical, like little houses in the area. Mm-hmm. And they teamed all of us, I think we were like 5th graders, up with like 2nd graders. So each one of us was paired up. So I had a young boy that was like maybe 5 years old. And they're like, okay, you're going to stick with him and, you know, you be his pal, you know, don't let him leave your side. But it was more than that. Like I enjoyed his questions, walking through the museum, talking about things with him. Like it just came naturally. Yeah. And I knew then, I was like, I definitely want to have a child. I at 11, I felt fulfilled just that this 5-year-old child felt so comfortable with me.
Yeah, but you also, you know, I think you've also always had a mentor kind of energy towards people, like especially like as someone has worked for you before as an employee of yours, you've always had kind of a mentorship attitude where you want to help people succeed and become a better version of themselves, whether that means like tough love or just love. Like you push them to do better all the time, and you're a natural protector. So you naturally go towards people that need help, and you do everything possible to help that person and protect them from harm. Yeah. And I think that's just always been in your blood. And even kind of like watching and seeing the different ways that you raise your boys, I'd commented before on some videos you had done in the past where it's just like, it's just this kind of, it's almost like a frat house in a sense, but like a frat house with purpose. Like you're instilling values of like fitness and gentleman manners and just kind of these behaviors and kind of ideas that are important to being a good man. Yeah. And you're teaching them the kind of values that you have always represented. So that kind of protective nature. Yeah. And you can't be a protector if you can't even defend yourself. No, you can't. So that's a really important lesson, I think, for raising boys.
It is. And a fine line for boys too.
It is.
I don't think that's one of the things I think it's impossible for the other sex to really, you're always looking at the opposite sex from an outside view. Mm-hmm. It's never internally, but teaching young boys to learn to be a protector and then riding the line of not being violent, because those are two different things. Sometimes protection involves violence. Yeah. And so like teaching that, you know, that they have to see it, they have to try to understand it, and then come to terms with what their role is, which is always changing as a male. You know, your role as a protector when you're 11, you know, if you have a little brother versus if you're 16 and you're a single child versus if you're a man by yourself. You're a man with a girl, you're a man with a parking lot with a girl and 4 kids late at night. I mean, they're so different and it's so complex. If there's no books on it, I've looked.
No, well, the other thing is too, like I think that's another one of those like nature versus nurture things, but it's still very much in the nature of a small boy to even understand, like they want to be the superhero. They want to be the wrestler on TV. They see these strong people that are capable of violence, but then like you said, you got to kind of guide that violence in a productive sense. Yeah. And that is such a fine line. But even from that young age, you saw the 2nd grader and realize like, oh, I'm responsible for this kid. Like I'm now defending this kid. I'm taking him, I'm looking after him. Yeah. And then as you grow older and you start dating, and now you go on a date with a girl, you're 15, 16, whatever, you're protecting her. Yeah. And the dad, say it's like the traditional thing you see on TV where you meet the dad and he's like, okay, I want her back at this time. You take care of her. Shotgun, right? And with that shotgun, that's his way of telling you, I'm protecting my daughter. Yeah. Now you need to protect her out there.
Yeah. And you can't blame that thought.
You cannot, and you should support that thought.
You should embrace it.
You should. And so he, you know, even if, you know, whatever the situation is, that boy, when he goes on that date, he is still looking out for that girl, or he should be.
He's responsible.
He is, and he should be. And then you just keep elevating that to whenever you're married, then now you're extra responsible for this protection sense. Yeah. And then you have kids. Now you have to protect the whole family. Yeah. You know, it just doesn't end. It does not end.
And it's crazy. Like, I mean, I touched on, like, you know, brought up a parking lot, dark areas, but like these are the scenarios that run through your brain, you know, like
they should be.
Absolutely.
but not everyone does that.
Yeah.
Because that comes down to how you're raised.
It's complicated too.
It is. So you may have an understanding innately like this could be a dangerous situation, but then you should have the training to understand how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And how to also avoid being in that situation.
How to not get
So
in there to begin.
you don't want to be in that dark parking lot at night
No.
alone. So you avoid that by going to a parking lot with more lighting, or you
Absolutely.
leave wherever you are a little bit earlier because it's safer. Because you have to make these decisions to protect your family before you're in a situation where you have to defend your family.
Absolutely. And a big part of that, unfortunately, includes where you live.
Yeah.
And a big part of where you live has to do with how much money you have.
Yeah.
And a big part of the amount that you can safely let your children play without your hawk eyes on them depends on, do I have a backyard and a safe neighborhood that the kids can play in? If I don't, that's a whole different dynamic.
Right. And then it's also interconnected too when you go back to the finances, which also comes back to your support system. So if you do have grandparents nearby, then that's another reliable source. Or if you're two income family, that's more resources. It's going to put you in a safer neighborhood. It's just unfortunately like that socioeconomic aspect. You cannot take it out of parenting. You just
It's
can't.
impossible.
It's absolutely impossible.
You know, I've had several conversations. Make sure I word this properly because we're in a GPG. I have a lot of Latino friends. I've had a lot of Asian friends. I'm Italian. One of my legs is Italian. I'm 25%.
Yep.
So I mean, I've experienced a lot of cultures that have more children maybe than some other cultures, mine included. I mean, my grandparents had 9 children. I told you one of them was a twin that died at birth, but still, you know, so I understand big families, and what I see with a lot of my Latino friends and my personal experience, I'll keep it like that, is I see families most of the time where 100% of the time the grandparents are involved, not
Same.
just
Same,
you know?
absolutely same experience. Like my best man, he's Colombian and his wife is Mexican, and their family is always available in
and
there.
love it.
And they love it. It's
Yeah.
But see, that's also kind of like the difference sociologically between different cultures. So I mean, traditionally in like a more Caucasian culture, it's this more independent mindset where like,
I'm leaving.
yeah,
Bye.
see ya. Bye. 18. I'm gonna go make my own way. Like I left Nacogdoches. I'm done.
Yeah.
Here I'm in Houston now by myself, doing my thing.
And you don't regret it probably.
I don't.
Right?
I don't regret like my I don't regret going out on my own. I think it's made me a better, stronger person.
Yeah.
And I had to learn how to be an adult faster.
Yeah.
Which it's got its pros and cons, but at the same time, the only real regret I have about it is being farther away from that support system I could have had. But then it's a trade-off, right? So I get the support system of the grandparents if I would have stayed in Nacogdoches, but I would not have gotten the economic opportunities that I've gotten in Houston.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
So even though I would have more support in Nacogdoches, I wouldn't have the income that I would have to support my family. So I'd be actually more reliant on that support. Right now, I'm not reliant on the support, but it would be nice to have.
Well, you know, the concept of, for instance, myself, like I'm projecting out my future here. I'm a 47-year-old man who hasn't had a girlfriend in 6 years. Intentionally, I've had plenty of opportunity, but
Gotta clarify. I still got it at 47, but I still got it, guys.
Well, I'd say that because I'm thinking about my future with my children, and this is my plan, right or wrong. I'm gonna spin it past you, see what you think. My plan is to keep I got 4 boys. They're 9, I have to think about this, 9, 10, 12, 14. And I want them to, we have active talks and we'll continue to, I want them to stay together, like quite literally in the same house or houses or next to each other. I don't want them to, and they're boys. So, especially my oldest. And we've had these talks. I'm like, you know, I'm going to need you. I'm like, straight up, I'm going to tell you the truth. Like when you're 18, you absolutely have the right to leave. And I'm like, I'm everything I'm doing with the hopes of becoming your best friend by the time you're 18. So we both have that mutual respect. My plan is to figure out a way to get a house with 5 bedrooms. So we each have a bedroom. And when they have girlfriends, I'll be like, and they want to maybe move out, I'll be like, no, move in. That's my plan. I'm gonna let them move in because that's if I can keep them close
That's a
to
hard
each
sell.
other, it's a hard sell. They've bought it though. They're like, yeah, okay, deal. He's good with that.
Yeah, they buy it at 14,
Yeah.
but not at 20. Like,
Well-
so the 5-bedroom house thing is great. Like that's an easy sell.
Yeah.
But they're going to need independence. So
At some
some of the cool ideas I've seen with some of the families I've worked with, and it's all back to economics. These more
Always.
affluent people, they live in these great parts of town, and they've been able to buy a house, and then they'll buy the next house.
Yeah, right next to it.
Directly next door.
Yes.
I've seen this
It's awesome.
multiple times.
Yeah.
And it is awesome.
Yep.
It's crazy to me too. Like I always think like, what are the odds that the house right next door to your house is now for sale? And I've just seen it so many times, and they buy it and then like, this is the house for the kids. Like you
It's
guys,
great.
yeah. And now we're next door. So like, you look at like cul-de-sacs. We bought out the whole cul-de-sac.
Oh,
Isn't
man.
that the dream?
That would be my dream.
That'd be amazing.
But it goes two ways. This is the part that I think about all the time. That's kind of what I was describing to you. It goes two ways because let's say, your kids move out and you get them a house right next door. They get a wife that's great and you get them the house next door. It's not just the parents being able to help your kids and being close to your own kids too, because you're going to want that through your whole life, unless for some dumb reason you hate your kids, which is your fault.
Or they hate you, which is also your
fault.
fault.
Right, those two.
It's always your fault.
But also, it's a burden. Let's say that your parents are starting to die, and now you have a child, and let's say you love your parents, and you want to care for them, but now you're 2 hours away, or a state or 2 or 3 away, or another country. Like then it goes the same problem. You're now at a strain to sacrifice more from your children and your wife because you have to take care of your parents who aren't next to you. But if they live next to you, then it's in reverse. You can just, go over there and check on them. You don't have to drive hours.
Yeah. And but that also is just very idealistic,
It
that's
is.
just not realistic. I don't think
Most of the time. You're lucky.
You're
lucky.
there's an aspect of luck there, and
Big one.
it's so tough, man. But that is something that that is real in my life, considering how far away my family is, and her family especially, because her family is a lot older than my family as well.
In
So,
Florida, you said?
yeah, her parents are significantly older, and that's something that we kind of keep in mind. That's a long way away, man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I have a job.
You
They have to keep
can't just
doing.
up and leave.
I cannot.
Yeah.
So we've talked about this before too, even just visiting. So just to give her parents more time with the grandchild.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can go. And she's like, I don't want to go without you. But at the same time, it's so hard to organize that because I am anchored to this provider position,
You are.
and I have to keep doing this.
You are.
I have some room to make exceptions, but I can't just go.
No.
And in these kind of pivotal formative years, I really want her parents to get the opportunity to spend time with Ava, especially kind of like you said, like you're very old and you could die any minute now. So you want to meet your grandkids and spend time with them.
Of course.
Yeah. So it's like it's something I want to give to them to
Yeah.
have that chance, and because it's hard for them because they also don't fly.
Mhm. Oh,
And it's like
I
a
see.
14-hour drive.
It is.
And they're both over 70.
That's
That's hard.
I didn't realize. Yeah, those are a lot of complicated.
It's a lot of complications.
And also the benefit of your wife having time with her mother and even your mother, so she can build that relationship and get the advice from the two grandmothers too,
Huge.
because they have they've gone through it all, and they poignantly, definitively care about this child. So
Yeah, they have an investment.
all the advice is going to be from the heart advice, not YouTube advice or
Yeah, exactly.
friend advice.
Yeah, and the grandparent advice is so much more valuable than like you said, like the YouTube advice, because that's
Definitely. Specific to your situation.
it is. It's
They know
specific
you.
to the family and the situation, but it's also the YouTube advice and the Instagram advice and the TikTok advice. All of this is also kind of rose-colored advice.
It is.
It's all like, oh, if you just do this, then your baby will be fine and perfect and everything's fine. But that's not how real life works. Like the whole like trad wife situation. Like everyone kind of idealizes these things, but they're not really getting to the hard parts. They're not
No.
showing the hard parts.
No.
They're not. They may say like this plan works, watch how it works.
Yeah.
You're watching how it works for 33 seconds.
Absolutely.
What about the rest of the day?
Yeah.
Like they're not showing the rest of the day. Like
No.
and that's why I try and keep that in my head, like about what my wife is going through every day. Because even when I have to spend, have to say it like that, but whenever I get to spend multiple hours at a time with my daughter, it's not easy.
No,
it's not easy. You're constantly entertaining. You're constantly trying to work and keep them from crying and figure out what's going on. And when they're happy, it's amazing. But when they're having a hard time, like you're just trying to problem solve and do whatever you can.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's all day.
Yeah. Sometimes it's all day and all night.
Yeah. And then that's heavy, man. That's so heavy.
I'm lucky. Every single one of my children from baby slept through the night 8 to 12 hours, bro.
That's
never
insane.
had one.
That I don't even know how you did that. That's such luck.
It's a little bit of luck, and part of it is one of those things that they don't give you a manual on, which is you brought up earlier. When is it right or wrong to let your baby cry?
Yeah, and for how long?
And what is the guilt that you're imagining versus the guilt that you should have or shouldn't have?
Yeah.
Who tells you that? It's all internal. It's what you can live with.
And so I see the angle you're going at, where it's just like, how much guilt do you feel for how long you let them cry?
But sometimes if you pick a baby up, and you've probably been told this, if you pick a baby up, just like any other living thing with repetition, if you pick a baby up every time it cries, it's going to cry to be picked up.
Right.
Because you're instilling that in them.
Yeah.
So you have to ask yourself, when is that too much? When am I hurting my child by coddling it?
Yeah.
And that's a tough one, especially from male to female, because they have a little bit different opinions on that. They're softer.
Yeah. Well, we've been very good about those decisions as far as like what we think is acceptable crying and duration. Our rule is basically 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Like once we get around 3 minutes and nothing's changing, we're like, and both of us are just sweating. Oh, it hurts. Like you feel it like in your stomach, and you're just like, oh God.
And you're looking up at each other when they yelp out.
Yeah. And then there's a certain pitch where like if the baby takes it to a different level of distress,
and they will.
Okay.
And they will.
1 minute and a half is enough. We made it in a minute, 35 seconds. Let's go. Let's get into the baby. and then you're just kissing a baby. And it's like, well, how bad was this? We're kissing the baby now. It's fine.
Have you figured out the time yet? Have you figured out a time where there's a certain baby sound that hits like your core DNA as a parent that just rips your heart out and makes you think of someone stabbing my baby?
I know.
And,
not so much as like a time, but like there is that cry where like if I'm downstairs and my wife's upstairs and she's changing the baby or doing something for the baby, and I hear that cry, my first thought is, oh my God, what's going on up there? And I trust my wife completely. But then at the same time, like, whoa, what's happening? Do they need me in there?
They could,
but they don't. They don't need me.
Yeah.
The baby's just being a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's so unpredictable. And, people are like, oh, this cry means they're hungry. This one means, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Like you may see some patterns in cries, but man, like you're not deciphering a baby's cry more than a dog's bark. You're like, this dog is barking because there's a bird outside. No, he just pooped in the corner. Like you're not going to figure that out.
Sometimes babies don't know. I mean, babies don't even know why they're crying. It's all instinct. It's not like it's active conscious. I mean, eventually it gets to that point, but at your age, it's all instinct.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you're saying with the conditioning too. Like they'll make certain sounds because they get certain reactions.
Yeah.
So they're like, if I cry like this, like
they're food.
Yeah, they're training you.
They are.
You're not training them. They're training you. They're like cats. Yeah. It's like, you serve me, human, and you'll serve me if I make this sound the way I like.
You will feed me, and I will poop it out, and you will change it and clean me. And you will love me. Because I'm adorable.
Exactly. What else you gonna do?
Do you feel like you are predisposed based upon your DNA to some degree to your actions, or do you believe that parenting is all your conscious thoughts?
Yikes, that's tough. I think it is impossible to say whether you are or you are not predisposed to anything, because if there's a predisposition based on your history, your genetics, and who you are as a human, your innate existence, you can't say, because it's kind of like the idea of free will. You can't say yes or no to that question, really, because you wouldn't be aware of it. If it's a predisposition, you're just kind of doing things because you just had no choice but to do them.
Yeah.
You're not going to know whether or not that's something that you chose or not chose. So I think that there's going to be some manner of that for sure.
Yeah.
Predisposition. But I think at the same time, like, you do your best to make decisions off of what you learn and the experiences you go through. So you're kind of you're in the boat, in the water, and you got your little paddle, and your paddle is kind of like the things you learn from YouTube. So the river's taking you on a ride, and you're just trying to dodge the rocks with the things that you learn.
That's a great metaphor. That's the right word for that. That's a good one. For me, I've always been into nature specials since I was very young. My children, we watch them all. So any mammal.
Yeah, those are so
like,
cool.
So as the years have gone by, and all the way back to my childhood, thinking about my mother and watching nature specials, one thing that came to the conclusion of, whether it's chimpanzees, dolphins, insects, or it seems to be baked in almost all animals, because you could argue most of their thought is instinct. I mean, they're not as conscious maybe as we are. I mean, it's not the right word, but it's so instinctive for them. They will die for their babies, whether it's a scorpion or an elephant or a tiger or a cat. But humans are the only time where you really, in any form of living things, where you see something that has a job that normally would do it, but not, because we have the right to choose not to care.
Right, and it's not. Well, I wouldn't say we have the right. We
Not
have
the right,
ability.
the ability.
Yeah, because I mean that's a very deep point. Because you look at different things in those nature shows, like with bears,
Because they leave right away.
You come up and you see a baby bear in the woods. You better get out of there.
Everyone knows. Did you see baby bears?
Knows.
They're cute now.
Nope. That is a sign you're gonna die. You can't do that. And
No.
so you're in trouble if you see a baby bear in the woods.
Yeah.
But the fact that humans have the ability and the choice to make that decision, to be like, I don't care about this thing. And people do it all the time. People will walk away, and you see, like, that's how, I mean,
I lived it.
not to kick you while you're
It's
down,
the truth.
but that's the truth.
Yeah.
People will make a choice to leave their families.
They will.
And
And you can't stop them.
you can't. And I know there's always exceptions, right? There's exceptions to everything, and it doesn't mean that you're necessarily a bad person. You may have something going on, some circumstance that's preventing you from being present. You could have mental illness. There could be kinds of things that
You could die.
You could die. Yeah, but we're talking about not dying.
We're talking about choices.
Choices.
But you could find yourself as a single parent, either through circumstance, happenstance, or another person choosing to be somebody different than who they were.
Yeah, and like I was saying, like, it's like sometimes people may make that choice knowing that they're not the right person for that job, and that they will only make that family worse, which I think is a more elevated and generous description, where people will say, like, if you have a drug problem, or you have these other issues that you could bring into the household that could put your family in danger, and you realize, I am the problem and I'm not strong enough to fix those problems, and then they leave. But I think there's also just the people that are just narcissists who think what's better for me is, I don't want to do this right now.
Yeah.
I want to keep living my life.
Yeah.
So anyone's like, I'm going to just do me. I'm going to do me. I have no patience for that.
I don't either. And I wish I could find, I don't wish I could find, I don't have sympathy for parents who just check completely out. I don't. And in my experience, I'm a male and it happened to me, but the ironic part is, and I don't know if this is God's way of making of making everything fair or unfair, but my mother, I never met my father. My father left before I was born. He had zero interest in me. I have a brother and a sister who he had after me, who I've never met. My grandfather on my father's side has held me like at a month old, and my grandmother. But I tried to look them all up. None of them wanted anything to do with me. I'd never spoken to them. I mean, what could I do? I was a baby. Yeah. But they have no interest whatsoever. And I think about my mother, what she went through as a single mother of 3 small children, all with different fathers. Not saying that's bad on her. It's just this. It was just the fact of the matter. She got pregnant at 16. She didn't know how to be a mother. She didn't know how to be an adult yet. I mean, she didn't know how to be a child. Yeah. And she's got a child, and she still wants love. And when you're a woman and you have a child, this is something that, I mean, it was hard for me to grasp. The aloneness that you feel. You know, you created a life with someone. Yes, it was intercourse, but you created a life together. It wasn't just you, and the other body, for whatever reason, is not there. You know, it's very hard. So somehow I ended up being directly in my mother's shoes, like as a male. I just find that very ironic.
That's so ironic. But then it's kind of like, were you always set on this destiny, this course, because of the way that you were raised and the way that you saw a family exist?
I think so, because I did the classical thing, and you were there for this, pretty much. My children's mother, when she was pregnant, I loved her, and part of me still loves her as a person, not obviously romantic, but I was deeply in love with her. And what I told myself, because we went literally into justice of the peace, she was 8 months pregnant, one witness, my cousin, signing the paper, $75. And the reason that I did it is the most classic, dumb reason that you hear the most, you know.
I can change her.
And it's the right thing to do.
And it is, yeah.
My father left my mother. I don't want to be my father. I want to be the opposite of him. So I was like, I told myself a story because the story made me feel right.
Yeah, you felt righteous.
Yes, I would
like, I am better than my father.
I have to be.
Which is the driving force for, I think, so many young males in the country. Yeah, I feel 100%. I feel like everything I've done is with the same idea of being better than my father, which I think is also what he would have wanted me to do.
Is he?
He's around, yeah. So
Okay.
he's still around. Like he is just completely infatuated with my little girl.
Oh, that's
loves
awesome.
her to death. Like he has been a very great grandfather.
That's
so
great. That's
he's
great to hear.
He does his best to be involved as well as they can, being so far away.
Yeah.
But it's also a starkly different experience than being his son. So being his son is being different than being his granddaughter.
Of course.
Yeah, and
well,
it's also with age and wisdom and maturity.
I was just gonna say,
and retroflexion, right?
Yes.
So like, he's also much older now, and he's lost a lot of testosterone.
I was just gonna say testosterone.
That's drained
That's
out,
funny, man.
So it changes the way you view the world.
Absolutely.
It's a very powerful and
It's a drug.
It's a drug.
It's a hormone.
Yeah, but still, like you can.
It affects your physiology and your mind.
Like you talked about earlier, with like the different capacities that males have, depending on like the use of force or whatever, and how we direct that flow of that testosterone really changes their life drastically. But with trying to be better, it's I think that's part of the reason why, and it's so funny because you say that you're living the exact same story that your mother did, but then for me, my dad had me when he was 20.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I took everything in almost the opposite sense, where I was like, I'm going to have everything settled
place.
within myself and in place. Like I'm going to create that infrastructure before I even try or think about doing this. And I always wanted to have kids or a kid. And it's funny because it's the same thing for my little brother. He's 39.
Okay.
And he just got married almost at I think at the same age that I did. I think we both got married at the same age, like 38. And we both got married at the same age. And it seems like he's probably going to have a kid at 40.
Pretty soon.
Yeah, I feel like they're heading in that direction.
Yeah.
And he's got a great wife. My sister-in-law is amazing too.
That's great.
And they have their whole life set. They did the same thing. They got the house. They got the jobs. They got everything is exactly in place.
Yeah.
And now it feels like the right time to kind of plug a baby in. But the fact that both of us waited until around 40 to have the idea of a kid, but also one wife married at 38 or 39, can't remember this one, get me in trouble. But the fact that we did that the exact same way, coming from the same household, is interesting.
It's an interesting dynamic for sure. I mean, you saw similar things.
Yeah.
So it's not a stretch to think that you both developed maybe similar mindsets of wanting
Yeah.
to do things a little different.
Yeah. Which I think
know?
was kind of like the fear of being with the wrong person.
Oh, yeah.
And the fear, because we also, in the dating world, like both of us kind of, I mean, I was more social than he was. So I was actively dating all the time.
Yeah.
Like trying to meet someone and just trying to feel this, trying to feel loved. Like,
Yeah.
so, and I've always been just a very monogamous person. So I would always
Same
just
here.
kind of seek out like, oh, is this the right person? And it's almost like you said, like doing the right thing, just as the peace, like doing all these things. Like I would do anything to try and make something work,
Yeah.
whether it was going to work or not. Like if it was just doomed, I'm like, I can still make this work somehow. I need to do something different, do something better. But you can't save every situation.
But believing in the positive, I think that's because that's what you're saying is that you would do your best in whatever given situation, especially now that you have a child, there's no turning back.
Yeah.
And it's
No,
one of the
that's not an
things
option.
that did not come to my brain, David, is that when you have a child with someone, you're not just having a child with someone. That person is forever, in one way or the other, attached to you for life.
Yeah.
I mean, that's period. Because even if that person, aside from death, disappears for whatever reason, male or female, eventually one day your children are going to want to know what happened.
Yeah.
It's just,
And in that story of what happened, I would imagine changes as they age.
definitely.
So you can only tell them so much of the truth at certain points of their life.
Yeah.
And then as that truth changes and grows, you have to walk that line carefully, I assume, because you also don't want to put down their mother and make her look bad in a sense. They still need to know the good parts and the
They do.
reasons why you chose that person and why you bet on that person. Why did you bet on my mom? And there's a reason you bet on her. And it wasn't for the negative things you saw, but it was for
No.
the positive things.
No, and that's what you brought up there. I think not just with myself, but any couple that's split that's had children. I mean, one of the biggest issues is couples don't split, and they're like, you meet them after they split, and they're like, "Hey, oh, we were great. Now we love each other.
Even
We're
without
best
kids.
friends.
Without kids.
Yeah,
So think about exes like you had without kids.
exactly.
You're never like,
No, like, hey, everything was great. We
Yeah.
just split up just because.
that's,
You know?
and I have like one or two friends that are capable of being in a relationship with someone, breaking up with that person, and they still go have brunch or lunch or whatever, and it's like, oh, everything's fine.
Maybe after some time.
I'm not that guy.
I couldn't be.
I invest too much of myself.
Of
I
your
put,
soul.
yeah, man, I put myself in it too far, and there's no way I can look at that person and think, it's all good. Like that's not happening. I'm still caught up in decisions that they made or I made. And I'm just like, nah, man, I can't do that again.
What do you think about this? What do you think about, let's say hypothetically, you run into a situation where your wife, hypothetically, you guys split up for whatever reason, and she does do some things that you personally feel very offended by. And how would you approach that with your children, or would you ever?
So it depends on what you mean, like what the offense is. If she's
Cheating. Let's go.
okay,
there.
sure. So say she cheated on me. We are divorced. We separate. We get a divorce. She's off. Either she's with the guy or she's not with the guy. I guess it doesn't really matter. I would, depending on the age of my child, I still would have to support her in a sense, which is just the hardest thing to do because you've been betrayed, right?
Yes.
So you're betrayed. You're hurt.
Yeah.
You look at everything that you built with that person and how they just threw it away, and you're
Yeah.
just like, I cannot believe you are not who I thought you were.
Yeah.
You feel not only betrayed,
Tricked.
but also you're tricked, and then you also are down on yourself because you believed it.
Because I'm stupid.
How stupid are you?
Right.
How can you believe that was real?
And I put my kids
Yeah,
in the way of that.
exactly. You're such an
You
idiot.
know.
So like you blame yourself for all that, but then you have to overcome it. And still, like I said, you cannot dog someone's mother or father, regardless of what they've done in the relationship. So I'd still find a way to stay positive about that person, about my wife or ex-wife, I guess at that point. But at the same time, I'd have to be honest and just be like, well, your mother made a different choice. She decided to go this way and she wanted to do this with her life. And that doesn't mean that she doesn't love you and she'll always be there for you. But she's just going to be there in a different way now.
You know, it's one of those things where, as your children, like you said, depending on their age, like my soon-to-be 15-year-old, he knows everything.
Yeah.
Minus the inappropriate details. But I mean, as far as anything our relationship goes that wasn't sexual, he knows every detail. And I've had a lot of people being like, you know, kind of give me a head twist. Well, you told your kids what happened? I'm like, I've heard a lot of, is it your kid's business? I'm like, I don't know whose more business it could be than my kids. They're like, well, why don't you leave them out of it? I'm like, it's too late. They've already in it. What do you mean leave them out? How can I? You can leave out, like you said, you tactfully leave out information. So, you know, because when you're angry, like you're not there, but I've been there, and hopefully you're never there. But you have to side with your anger and then the truth and then what your kids should know, what they'd want to know, and what they need to know.
Yeah.
And depending on the situation, and I'll throw a hypothetical so no one's under the bus here, but hypothetically, let's say that your spouse, the mother of your children, is fantastic. You know, years go by, but people can choose. And what if she chooses, or he chooses, or you choose to all of a sudden be a person that is now definitively, poignantly, no one's debating, dangerous to be around your children?
Which can happen. I mean, mental disorders and diseases can attack at any time. Dementia is a big one that, like I said, I deal with that a lot in the hospital setting. That is, even with the idea of not being, so say you're in a relationship with someone, it's not just that. If you do have like a grandparent around, when does that grandparent lose access, or when does that spouse lose access to your child based on things that you're perceiving? So even like dementia or psychosis of some kind.
Drug
addicts, like, we mentioned the alcoholism or drugs earlier.
Yeah.
Making that decision is difficult depending on the awareness that the person has of what's going on with them. So that's even one thing that we assess in the hospital too with the patient, is their level of alertness to the disorder that they have. So are they aware that they don't know what's happening around them? Are they aware that they forgot to put cold water in the bath? Do they know that that bath water is too hot? Like, do they know these certain things, or do they not? Are they aware, like, oh, something's wrong with me? So if they are aware, hey, these things are changing, I feel different, and they're honest about it, then you can have that discussion and be like, well, how about I take more of the care of the kid at this time, and we just kind of work on your stuff separately. But, you know, it's for the kid's safety, we'll do this. That's easy.
Yeah,
but if they're not aware that they have this problem, now that's hard. I don't even know how you navigate that.
Well, I bring it up because as two parents with a child in the household, let's say you run into a scenario like this. And this is something I think that should be brought up to any new parent, because you have to be ready for this situation. Let's say you come home, you've been at work, and your wife's there, and you come home and you see signs of alcohol drinking, and you find your infant child had been left alone with a diaper filled for hours, not fed. She's passed out drunk on the couch. Now you have a couple of options here, but you're in a very bad spot because you can't call you could call CPS on your significant other, but guess what? Now it's just you, and you have to be at work tomorrow. So because that's happened to me. So if you come home and that's a situation, you could address the person, but they're out of it, totally drunk. You can't talk to them.
No.
There's a baby that's not been cared for. So I stop in that situation, because I've been in that situation, and I'm like, okay, I have to take care of the child now. I got to do what I do for the kid. And so you do what you have to do in the moment. You wait for the person to get to a point where you can speak to them again. Logically. And you do, but it becomes a pattern. And at what point what do you do? What can you do?
Once it's in like an unbreakable pattern.
And it's clearly, at what point do you ask yourself, am I just I'm letting someone that I
like
know?
you're enabling danger to
Exactly.
your child.
Well, if you've come home and your significant other's been passed out ignoring your children, can you justify going to work tomorrow and trusting that it's not going to happen again?
So it's like you said, like the pattern, right? So if it becomes a pattern, at what point in the pattern is it unbreakable? And at what point in the pattern is it just established? Like this is just going to keep happening. So I think if it happens the one time, you're like, hey, this can never happen again. This is unacceptable. It happens the second time, then you're taking the day off of work. You're going to stay the next day with the kid. You're going to kind of take care of the kid, make sure the kid's fine. If you can, because a lot of times you can't just take off of work with 1 day's notice. That's not even an option.
Nope.
And in those situations, you can, of course, try and find like a single day daycare, get a nanny to come by, a babysitter. All these things cost money. Lots of money. Yeah, so that's so tough. But then it's if it's a new pattern or a new behavior, that's the hardest part about it. If that person was never like that before, and they just become this,
it can happen.
Be like, why did you become this? Especially with something like alcohol or drugs, where they never did it before and now they're doing it all the time. That's one of those things where you have to have that conversation. Like, why is this happening? Why are you choosing this? And then you try and have a real conversation that way. And maybe that person needs to talk to someone. Maybe they need a therapist. Maybe something's going on that they just don't want to talk to you about. It could be something that's, I hate the term, but like a cry for help, right?
Yeah.
So
it can be.
And people's mindsets, and you know this, people's mindsets are set in certain ways where like you recognize I need help, and then you go within yourself to find that help and find that drive to get better, be better.
Yeah.
But a lot of people aren't wired like that. And then that's why I think, so many religions exist too, because people do also need that extra support from something they can't see that gives them power.
I agree.
It's like I'm supported and I'm empowered by Jesus or God or whatever religion you're a part of. And that helps empower them to get through these situations.
I think so.
So sometimes, like in that situation, you find out what is the problem and what kind of support you need. And if you do everything you can, kind of give them that support, and it's still not changing, it's you can only do so much. And then, like you said, at that point, now you're endangering your child. You have created an unstable home by your decision to remain in that home with that kid. And
to remain with that person, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I'll get personal too. Before I met my wife, the girl I was dating, we were together for I think 5 years, and she had a horrible alcohol problem, very, very terrible. She was
really
drinking I would find vodka hidden in clothes hampers. I would find it in water bottles in the car. I found it in the medicine cabinet. She was filling up like different like vitamin bottles with vodka.
Secret vodka bottles.
Secret vodka.
We have a lot in common that I didn't
Isn't
know
that crazy,
about.
dude? Isn't that crazy? Like you go to like get
crazy.
some vitamin C and you're like, this feels watery, and it's vodka. It's like, what are you doing?
You go to open up a bottle of water.
Yeah. And that happened in the car one time. She had a bottle of water in the car. I'm riding in the passenger seat. I'm like, oh, I'll get some of this water. And she's like, oh, don't drink that water. I'm like, I know. I want water. What's the problem? And it was not water. So we battled that for a long time. And I did kind of all the things I just said. Like I recognized the problem. I did everything I could to help her. I offered to pay for, and I didn't have very much money. I was in school at the time too. And I was like, I'll pay for therapy. We'll send you to rehab. We'll do anything that we need to do. Because, I care about you, and I same thing where like, I can make this work. Yeah. And I just couldn't. And I kept it going for years.
I think you have to try.
You have to try. Right? If you think the person's worth it, then you have to try.
You do.
And once you love someone, then you will carry a guilt with you if you leave them in that state. Yeah. And you're like, oh, well, it looks like you're self-destructing and, you're spiraling. See ya. You can't do that. You do what you can for as long as you can. And if they're not actually helping you help them, then there's nothing more you can do. And in that way, you can leave that situation justified, and it's still going to hurt. I still feel like, like I left this person and I don't know what happened to them, and I never reached back out. I just I can't go back. I can't look back or go back ever. But I still feel a sense of sadness.
Definitely.
I won't say guilt, because I know I did everything I could. Yeah. But I feel sadness because I don't want that person to have a bad life. And this person also, like we would talked about, you know, what if we get married or what if we have kids? We had those discussions.
Yeah.
And I would frame it in the sense like, I can't imagine that with you while you have this problem, because you cannot be drunk while you're pregnant. You cannot drink while you're pregnant.
Yes. You can't drive a car to a store filled with kids while you're.
You can't. You just can't. And then and I would get the response like, oh, well, I would absolutely quit drinking if I was pregnant. And it's like, okay, those are words.
There they are. And that's all they are.
Yeah.
Because that's all they can be. You can't project out what you would or wouldn't do when what you're currently doing is none of that.
Yeah.
I mean,
but also when your goal in life is to be a father, and like hers at the time, she was desperately wanting to be a mother.
Really?
She really wanted to be a mother. She's like, this is what I really want from my life. And we had conversations about it all the time. And then I think that was a part of the problem, that she just kept kind of becoming more depressed because that's something that she really wanted, but she wasn't able to. She didn't have the same mindset that I had, where I was still in school at the time too. So I was like, my mindset was I need to prepare myself to be a father.
Yeah.
I like we said, like, you're never ready, but
No.
You can be ready.
You can do everything you can do.
Yeah. You can't be ready. You can be ready. And she wasn't willing to do the work to be ready. She thought that once the situation was presented, she would rise to the occasion. Right. But there's no rising to the occasion when it comes to a baby.
No,
you have to get as much together as you can.
And also you have to, the other partner, whomever that is, has to trust that you're ready for it. And by saying I'm ready for it, I can't trust that. I have to see it.
Right. And so it's a predictive sense too, based on that behavior, where like, I see that you can't stop drinking no matter what we do for years and years and years of me going through this with you.
Yeah.
And just all the crying, all the tears, all the heartache and the pain of the whole situation. And leaving that situation was so difficult. But then also I know in my heart, like, I wanted to be a father, and I know that this person cannot be a mother.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be the guy that walked through that door and saw my baby with a full diaper on the ground and her passed out drunk. I didn't want that.
Yeah.
And that's the future I saw if I chose this path.
Yes.
So I had to get off the path. I had to take that hit.
It's a tough hit.
It's a tough hit. It's 5-6 years gone.
Yeah.
Just gone.
Sunk lost value. You feel like you wasted time.
Right. And you can't get that back. Right now I'm older. My value feels diminished, because now as what was I, 32, 33, something like that. I was like, now it's not outrageous being that age and being a male. I still have good mating opportunities.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, I still feel less.
Yeah. Because
I'm not as virile. I'm not as strong. I'm not the same guy I was in my 20s, right? I just lost my 20s. All that stuff's gone to me.
To some degree.
It is.
But not actually.
It's evolved. It's changed, but it's not the same.
No.
Right? So, and then to be like in your 30s and get on these dating apps and then trying to start over, and then you have to keep in your you get it, I don't know, I'm not preaching to you, but the idea for me was like getting on these apps and doing these things and trying to find a partner. And then in the back of my head too, I'm also thinking, I'm not going to find someone, get married and have a baby within 2 years.
Yeah.
Say I find the perfect person, it's going to take multiple years of us getting to know each other and establishing ourselves and finding that trust and believing like, okay, I vetted you and I'm comfortable with you. I love you. And now I trust you. Yeah. And I believe that we can start a family. That takes years.
Years. It has to.
It absolutely does. And then at the same time, like I wasn't established yet. So all these things, I'm just thinking to myself like, oh my God, I got to start over completely from scratch.
Yeah.
And that's so difficult and so daunting when you're a single guy in your 30s and the dating world isn't even geared towards you.
No, definitely not.
Definitely
geared
not.
away from you.
It is.
Even as an attractive male. And people tell me I'm attractive now. I wasn't.
You look great. You look great.
But let me turn that up a notch.
But you're right. I agree with you.
Right. Turn it up a notch. You've had multiple children with a woman. You've divorced her. And now you're over 40. And now you're looking at the dating pool.
So I think the dating pool in that situation is still different because you've had the mothers of your children, you have 4 kids or multiple kids or whatever you have. Your goals are different.
Yeah. No, I don't want babies anymore.
You're done. You don't want babies.
No.
That's a different goal.
It is.
So like when I was in my 30s and I was getting into the dating pool again, my goal is to find a wife and someone I can start a family with. Your goal at your age and with you're already established and you have your kids, you've done the thing. Now your goal is just to find a partner,
It is.
someone that you can grow old with. That's a different kind of ball game. I think that's an easier game.
You think so? I would agree with you there. And I was just going to say the one thing though, that just throws a giant wrench in all of that. So you said you're how much older than your wife?
7 years.
Okay. So I'm 47. Let's say I'm dating a girl that's 35. Because that ends up about the age women want typically guys older than them, just generalizing here. So women in their late 30s, it's a couple options. If you're in your mid to late 30s, you've either had children. So if I'm going to date that woman, I'm going to have to deal with being a father to her children. She's going to have to deal with being a mother to my children. We're going to have split times with my kids, her ex, my ex. So that's all complicated.
That is complicated.
And then the icing on the cake, the most confusing part of it all, and I don't blame them whatsoever, is a lot of women, if they haven't had children and they're in their mid to late 30s, they badly want children right now.
The wall,
yeah. And I could give that to them, but it wouldn't be fair to my children. It wouldn't be fair to the kids. It wouldn't be fair to her. I'd be 60 when they're 20, you know. So 67.
Like
I'm sorry, 60.
You'd be more like 70 when that kid's 20.
Al Pacino, you know, and I'm not a millionaire 100 times over, so I don't have.
Yeah.
So this is what I've experienced in the dating world, and keeping this PG, I've chosen to keep the option open to create more children, even though I realize because that's probably not the right thing to do. Because a lot of the women that are good at being mothers, because they're already mothers, are mature, are within the age range of my dating pool, you know, it's one of the two right now. There really isn't a third door. There isn't. Try to find a girl, because people oppose this argument. I'm like, think about this. How many decent looking women that have their stuff together, that are over 35, that like men, don't have children and aren't married? Think about it. It's such a small. I don't know any. I don't know a single one. And then I like to ask people to follow up. Can you name a woman you know that doesn't have children that could have had children? Think about it. Can you think of one?
Someone that I know that does not have children.
That's over 40 that didn't have children. A woman that could have, but didn't.
By choice, they didn't want a child.
Yes.
That's tough. I don't have anybody.
It's so rare.
That is so rare.
It's the there's an 80-20 rule. It existed more so like a couple hundred years ago, but 20% of the males produce 80% of the offspring genetically, scientifically, like up to like 100 years ago. In different parts of the world, it's still that way. Now it's more 60-40. But I mean, those are the dynamics that you're kind of working with. And I think that maybe I'm getting off subject here, but when you get to a certain age, like male or female, once you've had children, doors start closing. Like people that could have been an option for you, you know, for a lot of reasons aren't. For a lot of other reasons, aren't either one of your faults, you know. It just is situational.
But I think so. I think the situation that you are in as a single father and raising your kids, I think that's a situation that is mirrored for a lot of women.
It is.
Who are single women raising kids
most of the
time.
And
I don't think the hoops so far as navigating two different sets of children and two different sets of baby mama, daddy mama drama, whatever. I don't think those hoops are that difficult to jump through, because even like the way that you have your life established right now, you have a system.
I do.
You have a system. So you have to assume that there are plenty of women out there that have the same system already set up, and they're single. They have one or two kids. I think that you have more people that are compatible with your lifestyle and your scenario than you realize.
I probably do.
And these people don't want more kids. They have their kids. And I think that range can go from like 30 to 40 easy.
Yeah.
And then, of course, once you get over 40, then you're going to find more and more of those people who are divorced and their kids are older and they're just looking for someone just like you are, that just want a companion.
It's true. I mean, I do run into those people often, but like myself, one thing that I did not expect is with time and relationships, depending on how your life goes, you carry the burden of your prior relationship, either positive or negative, on to
Baggage.
the next one.
It's baggage.
Yeah, there's no way around it.
There's no way around it. It's baggage.
Yeah.
And everyone I mean, it's the oldest term in the book is just everyone has their baggage.
Yeah,
But as you get older, those bags get stuffed fuller and fuller.
they sure
So,
do.
and they get heavier and heavier.
They sure do.
But the other good part about getting older and having that baggage is that you know how to carry it better.
Yeah,
You're not carrying it the same way you carried it 10 years ago.
no.
You're carrying it a lot. There's a trolley. You have this. You have a given in a cart. You pay someone else to carry some of it. Like you're not just carrying it solely on your own back.
But
So
you know what
yeah, go ahead.
the only problem when you've been alone for long enough, this is also something I never anticipated. Most people consider me very social. I don't necessarily consider myself that way, but I'm never uncomfortable around any groups of people. I can talk to anyone because I'm just myself. Mm-hmm. But my willingness, it's totally different. The idea of wanting to be with someone versus actually taking the steps to eventually live with someone. And I think once you've lived with someone and it's gone so far south, like so badly, and what you've had to fight to get back to where you are, at least for me, like, and for other women and men I've talked to, they project out like what it's going to take to get back there. And I think it's like old cat syndrome. Mm-hmm. Like, a younger cat, maybe you can train it not to scratch up your couch and pee. But as it gets older, and it's the same for anything, they lose the will to really want to listen or change or do things differently. Because like you said, I've got my system now. Anything I introduced would be something new to my system. I'd have to adjust. And I'd get some benefits, but there's things I'm no longer willing to give up, unfortunately. And
Yeah.
I wish it was different.
It's the old dog. You can't teach the old dog new tricks, right?
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the women that would be in your dating pool, though, too, would be, dealing with the same exact thing. Like they have their systems, they're more established, they're less likely to stop scratching on that couch. But I think as
You're
far
great
as
analogies.
moving into a place with someone, I think that step would be more difficult older, but at the same time, when you're visiting these people, they're more established now, and now that they're older,
Yeah.
and you can see what they've done with what they have.
Yeah.
If they're in an apartment, if they bought a house, condo, whatever their living situation is, you can go in and you can view that situation and be like, oh, this person has acceptable standards similar to mine. They are tidying up the way I like to tidy up. Things
Yeah.
look like I could deal with this person, because if they've been alone for any certain amount of time and they have that system, you can judge that system very quickly by going into their place.
Oh, yeah.
And then vice versa, same thing.
Oh,
They're going
yeah.
to do the same thing when they come to your place.
They should.
They should, because you have to evaluate if your values and standards are the same. So I still think you're in a good spot. I think you're in a better spot so far as finding a companion than any other kind of younger guy that's trying to find a wife and get started in their 30s. I think that's tough, man. Because those dating apps and other ways to meet people,
They're terrible.
It's a nightmare.
You know what? I'll tell you, to change the subject kind of,
Yeah.
but I wanted to ask you this because you have a little girl. I have 4 boys, and I've often projected out, well, every scenario with boys, but I projected out because any of them could have been girls. I had to be ready for it 3 different times. What are your fears as far as she's growing up? Have you already set forth a plan in your mind for teenage years, for dating years? Have you started
I have
that train of thought? I know it's really new, but
yeah, but not that.
You're
new.
a planner.
I mean, I had multiple months where we knew we were going to have a girl. So even as soon as I saw that
I was right, by the way.
You were right.
You tried to trick me.
No, you called it from the start.
I
You're like,
ESP'd you, bro.
I'm gonna be a girl dad. And I was like, nah, dude, no shot, girl dad.
That's what you get.
That is what I get, and I love it, man. I love my little girl. She's amazing.
I'm happy for you. Truly.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I love her so much. But yeah, of course, I've had all this time to kind of imagine like what that looks like. I think I have a pretty both a pragmatic and realistic view on what the world looks like, but at the same time, very kind of pessimistic. I'm not ever been like a super positive kind of person because I just always like to plan for the worst.
You're skeptical.
I'm very skeptical.
It's
and
good.
then,
Safe.
Yeah, it's safe, but then also it's restricting if you're too skeptical.
It can be, yeah.
So it's something that's another everything in life's a delicate balance, right?
It is.
So the way that I view kind of the advancement of technology and social media and the way that it's interacted with by boys and girls, it's very different kind of interactions.
My goodness.
And I feel like there's just danger so much on both sides of them.
Everywhere.
So one of the big things that I am just terrified of is the introduction of a cell phone, which holds higher value, I think, to younger girls.
Yes.
Like they want to communicate, they want to be talking to their friends, and it's young, very young. Even now, my daughter, if you have a cell phone near her, she's just like reaching.
No,
she's like. She's like swiping at it. She's like, and then my wife's cell phone has like a shiny background, like on the case cover, and she's just like, oh, shiny. So, I mean, she definitely like seeing a screen. She's automatically just drawn to staring at that screen. Our goal is to go 3 years at least, no screens, no TV, no iPad, no cell phone.
Wow.
3 years minimum is kind of the goal.
That's a good goal.
And then at 4, like more like educational stuff, like the common sense things, like educational introduction to screens.
Yeah.
But then as we get older, I don't know what the rule is going to be so far as like when she gets a phone as a teenager. We've talked about it.
Yeah.
And it's somewhere around the time where she will be expected to do extracurricular activities after school and be away from us and require a ride or be in a situation where she needs to contact us out of a normal sense. So whenever she's going out more with friends or doing whatever, but then also I need to find some kind of phone that just has no camera capabilities. I don't want you taking any pictures of anything. You better bring an Etch-a-Sketch.
I see where you're going with this.
Yeah, I don't want there to be any opportunity to present itself where you're gonna take a picture of something or do something or put yourself in a situation that just ruins yourself.
Yeah.
And I mean that in every sense of ruin, as far as like socially within your school system. I mean, you see things where some picture or something happens and it gets spread through the school, and then you're just bullied relentlessly.
Especially with girls.
Yeah. Because then, they see other people, influencers, and projecting themselves and showing themselves in certain senses, and it's always this kind of sexual or kind of
very sexual,
scandalous. Yeah. And it's like, oh, look at all the attention they get for that.
Yep.
And that becomes normalized.
Yep.
And then these younger and younger girls are trying to be that.
Yes.
So
they're striving for it.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? Like that's the goal, because they get the most attention, they get the most likes, and they get paid for this. You can also make money doing these things.
Yeah.
So it's reinforcing. I really don't want that door to be opened. So the longer I can keep her away from having her own camera, the better. I'll get.
You have thought about this a lot.
Oh, heavily.
You know what I've thought about a lot, from little boys to little girls, and just back on the whole dating thing, because I have a 15-year-old.
He's ready.
He's already there.
Yeah.
He's already there. But I think about if I was the father of a girl, and I know dating apps because I've been on them, and as well as I do. That any pretty girl on a dating app is going to get an insane amount of attention.
Crazy.
When she doesn't necessarily deserve it, which is going to mess with her own head. Because when she's
self-image.
Yeah, with her self-image. It's either bloated or too low, but it's not reality.
No, not at all. And that's hopefully she's not going to be any dating apps in teenage years. We're going to avoid that for as long as possible, especially.
There's no way even Snapchat is kind of like a dating app.
Snap, but also like Instagram, I think is more. Instagram is more because you're posting a whole lot, and then people from your school are going to be on there posting with you, and that's your friend circle, and it's going to grow and all that.
Yep.
So people are going to judge you. What was that TV series that came out? I didn't love it, but it was on Netflix, and it was about that boy, and he killed that girl, and it was about Instagram stuff, and they started talking about like manosphere things. It was just out.
I haven't seen that one. It sounds interesting, though.
And it does kind of get into the idea of almost everything I'm saying. This girl had posted something on the internet, or a picture had been taken of her, and it had been spread throughout the school, and it got posted on the internet and all this stuff. And it was just like this horrible bullying that just grew into this terrible, tragic situation. And that's all through like Instagram, right?
Yeah.
And the idea also was trying to get more likes.
Yep.
So the girl like bullied the boy in one scene on Instagram, social media bullying.
Yeah.
And she got a ton of likes for that comment that she made.
So that rewarded her for it. So she did it more.
So she did it more, and then she got killed. So it turned into this tragic situation. But
the human beings, until the advent, and I'm not against any of this technology, but just the fact of the matter is, until we had a way to sit behind, because in effect, dating apps are like kind of like a sexual paywall, like not in that sense, but in the sense where I can look at people that are prospects without any risk of being turned down, any risk of, somebody being like, oh, why are they staring at me? It's like you can sit back and like pick your spot.
It's their resume.
Yeah, thank you. It's a resume, and that's not how love begins.
No, but also resume too. That resume that they're presenting isn't real.
No,
it's like a person that's like, oh, I graduated from Dartmouth. No, you didn't. You didn't look like that on the beach. That's not you in a bikini. That's what's that face altering software? Like
exactly.
they sculpt each other. Like you can see the wavy sand. Like sand's not wavy like that. You just cinched your waist. Like it's not real. But then you're looking at this fake resume of this person. You have no real concept of who they are.
No.
But then if you can realize the falsehood of that resume, then now you do have a concept of who they are.
You do, but now you're on a date with them.
And yeah.
Because you to realize the fallacy, you have to meet them in person.
Yeah.
Right. And that's time wasted from a woman's point of view, of the women I've talked to, and they get a bajillion and one messages for every one that we get, even if we're half as good, even we're twice as good looking as them.
I've swiped to the end. I've swiped back before Tinder like had like roses and like whatever else they're doing now. I don't know. I'm not
pay things.
I'm not hip
gifts,
to it. Yeah. I was like old school, just like swipe. You're swiping until there's no more people to swipe, like in an area code. And I've done it. I've been to the end of the well. Like I went to the bottom and got nothing.
Yeah.
Like zero. And I was like, man, I'm not like that unfortunate of a guy.
You're
like,
not,
give me a chance. And then I'll start conversations, and it's like a classic, like, where just being ghosted. You'll be in the middle of a conversation, everything's great, and they're like, oh, cool, talk to you tomorrow. I'm like, bye, see you tomorrow. Yeah. And then nope, that was it.
It's when I've asked a lot of girls about this, like some of the prettier ones that I've known. I was like, so why the ghosting? And when did this start? And so I actually was watching a show where they're interviewing some girls on the street. I think it was Vegas for whatever reason. They're like, so let me ask you this. And it was stupid, like Instagram stuff.
Yeah.
Why ghost a guy? And they're like, she looked at her friend. She's like, why not ghost a guy? She's like, you're asking me why I would rather spend my time to explain why I'm no longer interested in you sexually, just to have potentially the male get mad and send another message, or I could just ignore them. They're like, think about it. I was like, okay, you're right.
Kind of. So what I think is you've had that conversation with them for that night, and it was a great conversation. You go to sleep, you wake up the next morning, they have 50 other guys in the inbox.
Exactly. It's too many options.
They will either forget that you ever existed, or they just see that you are the 7 and they just found an 8. Now they're going to till this farm, and then if that farm keeps producing, great. But then if there's 9 comes up, sorry, we're done with this one. So it's just steadily climbing this ladder until they get to the 9-10 area or wherever they want to be. They get that guy for the night, and then his inbox is full.
Yep.
And since his inbox is full, he's done with you now. And that girl gets reset back to the 6 and 7 level.
Exactly.
And then she just keeps climbing, and then reset, and then reset. And the
you
guys
understand it.
Yeah, the guys in the middle get left behind.
Yep. So, and I'm gonna have to explain this to all of them, just like you will have to explain all of this.
Yeah,
they have to know,
but it's from 2 different sides of the field, right?
Yeah.
So trying to explain that to a young girl, it's going to be impossible to explain to her the kind of power that she'll have just by being a female.
Yes.
Like she's going to be Spider-Man with great power comes great responsibility. And that responsibility is
now in your luck, she'll be beautiful. what you want,
I know,
right?
and she is beautiful. Like right now, it's a cute baby.
No, it's adorable,
I
baby,
have a
bro.
cute baby.
Oh my gosh,
bro. She looks so much like my wife. She's just gorgeous, and
I could see it.
I don't even know who the father is at this point. But if I ever met him, I would thank him. I'd be like, bro, thank you for your contribution. This kid is awesome. But it's crazy to think of that level of responsibility, and then I don't think it's something that we can even fathom because neither. I mean, it's not to insult either one of us. I think we're great in our own right, but neither one of us are this like top tier level 10 guy that every single girl wants to have.
No.
But you don't have to be that to get that kind of attention as a girl in the world. So that's what scares me that I need to try and raise this girl conscientiously to where she can receive all this attention and adoration and know how and when to act on it.
Yeah.
And to do it in a responsible way that doesn't hurt people. So she's not going to hurt other people, but then also in ways that don't hurt herself. So that's just going to be one of the hardest parts to navigate, I think. And there's no telling what the dating scene is going to be like in the future. Oh, some rookie left their ringer on their phone over here.
This rookie did.
Oh gosh.
You know, on that note, as far as future dating goes, for my boys, I've noticed with them, they're very conscious of, like, hyper conscious of age groups, and that was never that way when I was in school. For instance, if there's a 9th grader that's interested dating a 10th grader, it's now scandalous, even amongst like their own schoolmates. I know from
9 to 10, but then also once again, boy versus girl, right? So
exactly.
You're talking about a girl 9th grader with a male 10th grader.
Exactly. They started. Did you know they did this? They created in most of Texas and a lot of the country, if I'm not mistaken. Now there is a specific separate building for the 9th graders, the freshmen specifically. I'm going to make sure this is PG, but when I was a kid, and everything I remember from my older brother and everything I've ever seen on TV, from like super rated G, family shows that are kind of comedy, the running joke has always been, and ever since I've known, that girls like guys a little older. And when I was in middle school, I would be mad because some of the pretty girls that I would like were like, oh, I only date high school boys.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And I get to high school and the pretty girls are like, oh, I only date college guys.
Yeah.
And then you get to college or you're in your mid-20s and you're looking at the pretty girls and they're with the 30-year-olds. Right. Right. With your dad.
Now they're with your dad.
With a nice car.
Yeah.
Who's
like,
jacked.
Dad.
And he's got great teeth.
I really liked her, Dad. Gosh.
So I'm like, how do I have that conversation? I already started with them, but it's, and then like on the girls' end, I don't even know how to, I'm glad that I've only had to, half of my brain has only had to be committed to the male section because it's so complicated. It's taken up all my brain space to think about.
But it's also easier for you to understand because you've been there, right?
That's true.
So like I'm walking in the shoes of experiences I've never had. And it's just a matter of me observing the world, right? And so from looking on my side of the fence, I've seen all these things. And like on the other side of the fence, I'm like, God dang, all these patterns keep happening, right? But patterns don't necessarily mean like actions.
That's true.
So it's so hard. So even everything that we're saying, everything that we've said that we view as real or reality, if someone in the comments can easily be like, oh, that is not the experience of a girl on a dating app, blah, blah, blah. And, that's their reality and that's their interpretation. And that's kind of like what we talked about. One of the first things I said to you when I came over today was there's no way to know what is real anymore because everyone has their own perspective and everyone has their own megaphone. So you can say anything you want to full-throatedly and just be like, this is what's real to me and this is my experiences, my patterns that I've seen. And then you have the person with the complete opposite perspective. And so everything you said is questionable. Yeah. But it's your interaction with the world. But then how do you get that interaction in the world to your kids? And is your interpretation of the world the correct one to tell to your children? So it's they kind of get their perspective on the world from you while at the same time with their own personal experiences. So I think it's a very strange time that we live in where truth is so muddied
It is.
that it's hard to tell what, even if you look at history books, the way that we were taught about Christopher Columbus and the way that your kids are taught about Christopher Columbus, and then how is my kid going to be taught about Christopher Columbus? Like it's all going to change.
It all keeps changing. It's like a moving target. It just never even sits still. Like just as soon as you have one bit of information, like the next one trumps it, and you're always redoing it. That's what I think the great need. I created a website. So there's this Eternal Fatherhood little podcast with an entire 111 subscribers.
112 after today.
112.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
But I feel like this is what I'm jealous of. I'm jealous of the female community of parents, but not, I'm envious of.
No, I see what you mean.
Envious of, because when I watch them interact with each other, let's just say my cousin's house, she's a female. We had a big party, 4th of July, several different families there. The mothers eventually like to show up with kids, man, they're bonding, pachow, and they're helping each other out without asking. You know, you're immediately, if I see a woman that has kids with her and she's seeing my kid and goes to help him with something, I'm not worried at all. I'm grateful.
Yeah.
If it's a male, it's a totally different story. Like I can trust the female, but I wish I could have that sense of community where I could have my boyfriend, my male friend,
my bros,
my bros be like,
bros.
hey, can you just watch my kids for a couple? That never happens.
That's what you need as a boyfriend. Let's go and let's get you back off of Tinder. There's other apps we can find for you.
My friend male adult.
Yeah.
You know, but
I agree.
You know,
there is no community because there's such a strong kind of adoration and kind of raising up of the single mom, you know? So that's everywhere. And everyone's like, oh, and it's true in a lot of these cases, if this person's just been abandoned and left with the children, then it's like they need help. They need that community. Yeah. But then you just don't get the same response from the other side of the fence where it's just like the guy is left by himself and he's doing what you're doing. Yeah. There's no camaraderie between single fathers.
And I think part of that is, I mean, I have several friends that I would trust my children with, male friends, which is rare. I mean, there's like 5 of them, total. But typically as a male, I think most men would probably agree with this, that even if you know a male, that's not good enough to leave your children with. You know, even if I've known you well, I have to deeply, innately like love you. You have to be like my brother or even more. I don't know if I trust my kids with my brother because it's not just the trust that they're going to do something wrong. It's, are they going to know how to handle all of these situations?
Which it comes down to, you need another father.
Exactly.
Who you feel the same way about and have that same level of trust with. Because you're like, okay, this father, he knows what I'm talking about. And he can address these situations because he's either been in them or he's prepared to be in them.
Exactly.
And that's tough.
So I bought this website, eternalfatherhood.com, that I've done nothing but create a blanket AI webpage for. Mm-hmm. But what I wanted to include in there, this is one thing you'll like. I created a document to where when your child is sick, and maybe you have experienced this, when your child's sick, you're given a certain number of medications. There's a certain time of day that they have to be given. There's certain, maybe more than one. There's some instructions. And now imagine you have multiple children. So one gets sick, the other gets sick. And now you have...
And there's an allergy list in there too.
There's an allergy list. And now you have 4 children with 4 different medications at 4 different times, taking 4 different drinks. Try to remember.
Yeah.
You can't. So as I went online, I was like, medication sheet, tracking sheet for children. There is no such thing. there's not a thing for it. Isn't that weird? So I created one.
That's awesome.
I created a spreadsheet, resource. And it helped me so much because I don't know why there's not an app.
I'm gonna say that should
be
an app.
Now that I think about it,
now that should be an
app.
Yeah.
So, but just writing it down, writing my notes like a little doctor, 2 p.m., X milligram, this temperature, you know, and I have like my dad's supply kit, which you would trip out on because I have like the ear thermometer, the high-end stuff you see in a hospital, like the full accoutrement of all the medications. I teach all of them what they are, how they work, when they need them, you know. Like you have to be prepared, you know. So I'm that, you know.
And your kids are at the age too where, like you said, you're teaching them this stuff. They need to be prepared to know when they need their medication.
Absolutely.
They need to be in control of that list. They need to be able to look at that list and be like, I need this at this time, this at this time. And they can do it themselves.
Yep.
it's almost a sense of it's empowering them, but then also teaching them that responsibility, which is something that that's another big conversation that we get into is how do you raise a child to be an adult and take care of their own responsibilities that you have taken care of for them. Like that transition of I'm washing your clothes to now you're washing your clothes. Like that's a hard point in life, man.
It's funny you bring that up.
Because you're doing it right now, huh?
I'm doing it, and I do it in a system you would appreciate. They're like, how long were you in the Army? I'm like, I've never been in the Army. The next question, well, you're a cop? I'm like, no. They're like, well, you're very, with your children, regimented. They're like, but they're so calm and respectful and nice. They're like, I don't understand. I'm like, here's what to understand. Like, children like structure. They may tell you they like candy, but at the end of the day, what they want is structure. Yeah. Truly, they do, even if they don't know that they want it. So the structure that I've left for the oldest, and from day one, I'm like, you're the oldest. You got the most attention, all the attention till there was number 2. And when number 2, that attention got divided till there was number 3. And now you're at 33%. Now there's 4, you're at 25. I've spent a lot of time with just you before your brothers were born, training you with the expectation that you're going to train your little brother. And then he's going to train his little brother. And he's going to train his little brother.
That's that farmhand mentality right there. That's back when they used to have kids to work the farm. You're right? Like, hey, Gretchen, you want to have another one? We got to find someone to milk the pig.
We got someone that knows how to use a hammer on this horse's feet here.
And then we'll have to teach his little brother how to do it. Now, that system worked for hundreds and hundreds of years, and it needs to be done because it also breeds more responsibility if they feel like they have to assist that younger sibling into doing that thing.
It creates a sense of sympathy as well, because when you're given instructions, you don't know what to do. You know, those moments you feel incompetent in whatever you're doing. Like now you feel empowered because now you're teaching someone else.
Oh, look, that ringer's still on. Yeah, dang.
Now you're teaching. I'm turning it off now. I wasn't going to spend the time.
That's a teaching moment.
See, but I can't end the call without him knowing. Okay.
I know. Yeah. Gosh.
How about this? Power off.
There you go.
Oh, Gemini. Come on. Come on. There
Opening power options.
Oh, my God. This guy. This is why you should never give it. That's why you should never give an old person technology. This is the kind of life you get. This guy just needs a life alert and a walker.
I feel like that idiot on Joe Rogan. There was one idiot, I remember who was.
Just one?
There's a couple who left their ringer on, but one actually, I want to say it was Antonio Brown, the ex-football player.
Yeah.
Like Joe Rogan had to stop him because the dude, I was watching him in the pod, pulls out his phone while Joe Rogan and starts texting. Joe's literally like, hey, what are you doing over there? What are you doing over there? And he's like, and Joe's like, come on, bro.
But see, that's all. And that brings us back to the screen stuff. It's an addiction.
Massive.
It's so addicting.
The worst one.
So even that question, what are you doing over there? He probably was like, I literally have no idea. Yeah. I just picked up my phone because this is what my body has trained me to do.
Squirrel.
Yeah, squirrel. And then you're just scrolling something and then someone's talking to you. And that's another part of the idea of keeping the cell phone away for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Because people don't know how to talk to people anymore.
They don't.
You just lose so much of that communication that creates anxiety.
It does.
And that's why, I think it's a big part of why the ghosting, you just don't know how to deal with the situation.
So you
ghost.
Yeah.
Because and then that reinforces the idea, I don't have to learn the skill. No. I don't have to learn how to break things off with people or communicate any other way. And that's terrible, man.
It is, because from a male's point of view, whether it's, the other sex or just your friends, the idea of having to only communicate with these two thumbs when you're focused on a screen, I'll tell people, I'm like, text me, if it's short and brief, but big long conversations, I'm like, I don't want to feel rude because I didn't respond to you. I have other things going on, but B, I can't pick out all the emojis. Maybe it's my age,
it's
but
age.
I'm just pragmatic, with my text. Bang, bang, bang. Most of the time. Sometimes I can be creative. I have fat thumbs too.
Yeah.
So I'll tell people, call me. When you call me, maybe that's not face to face, but at the very least, I can use my arms while we're communicating, both of them, because you need two to text. No one texts with one hand. So you need two hands and both eyes. Yeah. All of my attention is taken. So I keep, I've learned as a father of 4 by yourself,
Beeper.
you have to have No, these are Bluetooth. This is a weirdo thing. These are Pixel Bud Pros, but these stay attached. If these cause cancer, I'm going to get it. Because these stay attached to my belt clip as soon as I wake up, and they don't leave.
And anytime you're attaching things to your belt clip, you realize that you cross a certain stage in the growth of a human.
You said it. I'm old. I'm that old guy.
It's the old guy.
I don't have the clip with my phone yet. That's never happening.
Oh, you say that.
I'm going to buy bigger pants or smaller phones. One of the two. I hate that. Right?
Oh man, my dad has a cell phone clipped to his pants and two knives.
Two?
2 knives.
Why 2?
He's got one flip out knife, of course, a little pocket knife, and he's got one that's just in a sheath. Just a little stabber.
He wants to be ready.
Oh man.
He's Semper Pirmata.
You don't even want to know what's on his ankle. It's not a monitor, I'll tell you that.
Oh, I can be creative here. It's Texas. I think we can all figure that out without saying the words. But you know, dad moves. My kids have already started to take it on. So I'm so proud because my oldest, I got him a pair of Oakleys. He's got this on his belt clip with fancy overpriced jeans. You've always been the
Oakley guy. Always been the Oakley guy. It goes with the Jinkos, the Oakleys.
Right.
Always.
I just started with the tight Under Armour shirts because I can now.
That's good.
But
well, you've worked hard to get it.
This spare tire's creeping up on me. Those 40s.
Yeah.
You can have this can be good.
Yeah. Perfectly silicone.
Spare tire.
Yeah. The operation cost hundreds of thousands.
There are people that do that. I'm like,
I know.
What's the point?
Crazy.
What
You're so weak. Like,
it's
I don't know. And mental. It looks weird too. It doesn't even look strong.
You ever want to ask, and I'm not picking on females here, but I am picking on the females that get their lips injected to the point where they look like, I'm like,
I call them silicone cyborgs.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want anything to do with like a silicone cyborg. Their faces are so full of filler and lip junk and everything's just so unreal.
When they look in the mirror, do you think that they really think, oh, that's better?
I think it's one, dysmorphia.
Yeah, body dysmorphia.
I think it's also two, just what they see celebrities do. So it's the same thing. It's that influence culture from the social media. And it's like, oh, well, these celebrities get this many likes. I want this many likes. Yep. I need to do this thing to my face.
Yep.
And it kills me, man. I'm grateful my wife isn't one of those people.
That's awesome.
She's beautiful.
Where'd
naturally.
You meet her?
Just through friends of friends.
See, that's the best way. You met her normally, like a normal human being.
Yeah, out socially in the world. And that's the good thing about that is she's been vetted, right?
Yeah.
So if you get along with the same people that I get along with,
your friends can tell you, hey,
then I already know. Yeah, exactly. And then you already know, like if she was a stay away person, then she wouldn't be in that friend group.
And that makes it, when it's a friend group, it makes it so much easier because it's something that I work on with them, a book that I've read, one of many, self-teaching books, but the ones that when you're meeting someone and you're introducing a friend to a mutual friend, you don't go, hey, what's your girl's name? Ava?
Yeah.
Ava, David, Ava. Like, no, you say, hey, this is my overly confident friend, David.
Yeah.
This is Ava. She happens to be happily single,
Yeah.
Something to, a little bit, just, to break the ice.
Yeah.
Is that what happened? Or did you just go stone cold?
Well, we had met
intro move
because we were just friends and we were friends of friends. Then we started talking as just friends and everything was just like neutral because we both were with people at the time when we first met each other.
Yeah.
So we were aware of each other and that was it. So we were just kind of like hanging out and nothing serious. And over time, we were both dealing with like these really hard partners that we were with and then split it off. And then she was single for a while and then I became single and then we started talking more and we'd already had the introduction to each other. So we both knew kind of who we were getting into it with.
Yeah.
So like I understood kind of like who she was as a person and she understood who I was as a person. And I was very fresh off my relationship. So I told her from the start, I was like, I'm in a bad headspace. Like that was one of the first conversations we ever had after I'd broken up. And I was like, I'm in a bad headspace. I can't date really right now. And I can't date you intentionally the way I would want to.
Wow. So you said that?
I said that.
That's crazy.
One of the first times like we went out on a date together and like I just realized like how damaged I was being on a date with her because she's a beautiful girl and she's so amazing. And I knew that she was special, but at the same time, I was like, man, I just cannot be what I want to be for her. And I told her that. I was like, it's going to take me a little bit before I can fully give myself to this.
That's brave, man. That's very
I could
brave
have
and
lost
very
her.
honest.
I could have lost
That's what
her.
I'm saying, you know?
Because I definitely felt, and then I felt that pressure. As soon as I said that, I felt the pressure of, oh, I could lose this because of what I've said and done. And well, I'm just lucky that she kind of stuck it out with me and she helped me get through that, because I was not in a good headspace after the alcoholic relationship.
How much time had passed in between the relationship ending and starting?
Weeks.
Weeks.
A month at
Okay.
most. So
Yeah,
like
that's-
a month or so after.
That's short.
Yeah. So I mean,
Short.
I was single for a month, and then I was still single. We were just dating, but not seriously. We're just like going on casual dates and just
Yeah.
talking to each other. And she gave me the time I needed and helped me like get through it all. So she helped me get through it mentally and then kind of grow more and get over what I'd been through.
Yeah.
So it was very, very a therapeutic dating kind of what we were doing.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it was cool. And I like I said, I created a pressure on myself because I knew there was a chance I could lose her by what I said.
Yeah.
And then also the fact that I just see other dudes hitting on her all the time.
You know,
That's just,
that's one of the dynamics. Like somebody, I keep going back to the subject, but it is something interesting. I was talking with just last night at my cousin's house. She had some of her 40-year-old single female friends that have had children, been divorced, and
that's your group right there.
yeah, we were just discussing like dynamics of males and females and all those things, and totally forgot what I was talking about.
Well, no, because like the dating and like she was constantly being hit on by dudes.
Oh,
all
right,
the
right,
time.
right. Okay, so that's the dynamic, because one of them said to me, because we were chit-chatting about relationships and neither of us had any, we were both single, and they're like, well, you know, when the right one comes around, you just know it, just wait. I'm like, that's a female point of view, because the truth is that we all know, exceptions being what they are, that as a male, if you watch any nature show, try to find a female that's hunting down males.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
And if you do find that show and you do find that animal, they mate with a male and then kill them.
Right. it's a spider. It's a black widow.
Yeah, it's a praying mantis. It's cutting off the head of the male. You're like, and then the female praying mantis decapitates the male. It's like, what is happening here? Like, that's what you get. You either get decapitated,
Yes.
or you get nothing.
Or you have to fight to the death with another male and
Yeah.
grow giant antlers or grow a giant, you know, like pinchy thorn. There's like
That's
this
right.
one crab who's got to have the biggest crab arm.
And I got the smallest antlers out there, bro. Like I'm not. They're average antlers, but they got me where I need to be.
Somebody brought up to me, they're like, "Oh, that's weird. Those rams just are fighting with each other because they're angry." I'm like, "Is that what you think?"
They're not mad.
I was like,
they're not mad.
"What do you think they're fighting over?" They're like, "Food." I'm like, "Why would they be fighting over food with ramming their head?"
Territory and mating.
That's it.
And that's it. That's
You
the whole
know?
thing.
But I was like, wouldn't that be nice if I could just wait and someone would run into me? But as a male, I can't tell my kids that. I don't believe it's true.
But at the same, okay, so at the same time though too, you do as a male, you have time to wait more than a female has time.
You're
to
right
wait.
about that. That's for sure. I've
'Cause
heard
you
that
can,
from them.
You can keep dating 10 years plus down below.
Al
and
Pacino.
Al Pacino, man. Leonardo DiCaprio. Your 25-year-old is out there. Like you have more options as far as like waiting and seeing.
That's
but
true.
That group of 40-year-old women you're talking about, their windows are getting tighter and tighter. They're
Yeah.
only dating up and then maybe a little bit down.
Yep.
But then when they're dating like 10 plus, 15 years plus over their age, now you're just with a grandpa.
Geriatrics.
Geriatric
I've met
dating.
some of those. You
Yeah.
know, at 40, they married a 55-year-old, which didn't seem at the time, doesn't sound crazy.
No, not at the time.
But 10 years, 15 years go by, and now you're 70.
Yep.
Or you're 55 and they're 70 and almost dead.
And then you're in a caregiver position
You are.
with your spouse.
yeah, potentially
that
your
quickly.
children too,
Yeah.
if you had any.
Yeah, that's very,
Yeah.
very tough. And that's another big part of when you have your kids, right? Your kids are going to be the ones that you hope are going to be there to support you when you hit that geriatric.
You
don't,
hope.
you don't want all the pressure to be on your spouse.
No,
And that's,
no, you don't.
you want to have a spouse for one. You want to have a
Definitely.
companion there for when you're in your old age to help you, and then for you to help them.
Yeah. You don't
But-
want to die alone.
You don't want to die alone.
I don't.
man.
But some people say they do. I'm like,
No,
I
you
don't
don't.
believe you.
You're so full of it.
Yeah,
Anyone
I
that
don't
says
believe
that,
you.
they're so full of crap. And that's just a person that's become jaded to the whole system. Like they've been hurt and now they're jaded.
I feel bad for them. When I see someone, I have nothing against dogs or cats. But when you have 30 of them and
Oh,
you're
man,
single,
that's a sickness.
it's a sadness. It's like, because you see, they still want a love and affection, and they've been hurt enough, so they're done with humans, and they start with cats or dogs. You can't blame
And
them,
they're
but
just filling in that
whole-
love gap.
yeah,
So there's that gap in the love and attention that a dog is always going to give you that no matter what.
yep,
So that is a sad situation, man. I feel very lucky. I'm going to work. I mean, I'll make that proclamation just like I made to my wife. Like I'll work as hard as I have to maintain what I have, because I know I'm very lucky to have it. And I was very particular in my choices and the way I came about my relationship. But like I know that I'm lucky to have it. And you're a great dude. Like you've got so much opportunity to find that companion, but you just got to make sure that I think that you're in the right headspace as far as like finding that person who matches your system
yeah,
and has the same vision for what that relationship is, where it's just we're companions and we're here for each other
yeah,
and to support each other's ancillary life. But then at the same time, like you're not looking to produce another life,
yeah.
because for you to start over as you got to be at the same page, man. Like
Yeah,
if
you
you have
do.
that 35-year-old who's just like at the wall and they're ready to have another kid, you can't sign on to that, man.
I can't. It's not fair to anyone.
It's not. And see, it's so responsible that you have that mentality and you can say that, because a lot of people are just like, I just want the companionship. And that's a very selfish thought.
And I will say this: I've met my out-of-pocket maximum for the year.
Mm-hmm.
So the elective surgery, to make sure that doesn't happen, will be $0, and I need to schedule it.
Wow.
I need to schedule it before December.
We should do it at the same
know?
time.
Are you considering it?
I'm considering it.
Are you?
Not.
Is she
I'm
okay
not-
with that?
We haven't talked about it. It's the first time it's been spoken about in a lot of it.
Oh, she's.
But we have spoken about the issue of the concern more of like if we had another kid, because once again, single income household, that's a tough situation.
You're
And we
ask-
have to be very careful with what we choose to spend the money on.
You're asking yourself, what if we had two right now?
Yeah, man. If she was pregnant again, like right now, with the amount of stress, that I see her in, where she's just, trying to raise the kid by herself at home all day,
Yeah.
doubling that stress would be unimaginable.
Sometimes when I try to have I'm having conversations with people, when I'm speaking about like what you're describing, it's a pie. So you can only take so many slices out of the pie. When I hear some people talk, they're talking like the pie is getting bigger. I'm like, no, the pie is 24 hours.
Yeah.
You can't grow a day. You're going to have to divide it up. So if you have more children, I don't know, more wives if you're Mormon, whatever, more jobs, like it's all, if your body's fantastic, like you're jacked and you have a kid and a wife, you're probably ignoring something from them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is what we talked about with like sacrifices, right?
Yeah.
So the sacrifices that you make. So one of the first questions you asked me when we were talking about doing the podcast was, how many times have you been in the gym?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. And that's a great question. And I think that is such a good question, because the gym is important to me.
Yeah.
And it's important to me not only because I have physical problems that if I don't go to the gym, like my back gets worse and worse and worse.
I feel you, bro.
Yeah. So like if I
feel you.
don't stay steady working out and using my body, I become tight and things become harder.
Same
and I
here.
have more my back goes out. More of those situations where then I can't walk hardly. And then now I'm a drag on my wife and I can't contribute the way I want to, which happened
Yep.
within that first 6 weeks where it was just both of us together at the house with the baby. My back went out and I was just useless. I could barely do anything. And then that was just so sad.
That's
because
hard on her and you.
It is. And it all
You know?
happened because I wasn't sleeping right.
Yeah.
I wasn't exercising right. I wasn't eating right.
Yeah.
All of my attention was just to the baby. And how do we keep the baby alive and keep the baby happy and keep the household running and all these other things, and neglected myself too far.
Too far, yeah.
And I didn't know what the line was until I got there. And I was like, okay, now I know like I need to take more time to get more sleep for myself, and I need to feed myself and like pay attention to that, to fueling my body, because otherwise I'm going to just rot over here. And I did. I lost 10, 12 pounds at the worst point.
Wow.
Just by being a dad. Just lost weight.
Doing what you had to do as a dad.
And I became so like everything hurt way more.
Yeah. And I mean, you're 40 now.
Yeah, right.
So the margin for error just gets smaller and smaller. You know?
Yeah, you got to be careful. And then when you're picking a baby up off the floor 100 times a day,
that can definitely
that'll throw you out, man.
Yeah.
And, you know,
wait till she gets bigger.
I know she's getting heavier all the time. So I gotta work on that. But yeah. So making that time for yourself is so important as a parent, father or mother. You have to make time for yourself.
You know what I would do differently? I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, please don't.
It just reminded me the time for yourself. If I could do things again, or maybe if they transpire that way and I have a partner again, one of the things that I definitely would have done differently is I would have tried to make more time for my kid's mother for herself. And I would have asked her to do the same for me. Because, you know, if you're doing it, like you said, you needed to work out. You explained all the reasons why. It's not selfish.
And she's been great about it. If I get off of work, I tell her I'm going to come home and I'm immediately going to change and go straight to the gym. Because I'll get off work around like 4 or 5 o'clock, something like that. And I come home, I change, hug and kiss the baby, I'm out. Yeah. And I'm going maybe 2 times a week now.
It's reasonable.
It's reasonable, and that's a maintenance level. Like I'm not getting gains. I'm not doing what I would like to be doing. Yeah. But I'm also maintaining my health as it is right now. Mm-hmm. And she's super understanding with that, and has never told me, "Oh, you can't go. Oh my God, I can't believe you're abandoning your baby." She's been very supportive, and for a certain amount of time we were trading off days to where like I would go, she would go, I would go, she would go. So I would come home, I take baby, she goes to the gym. And we just kept going back. But then also she developed an injury too. She has back problems as well. And so she was knocked out. She was not able to go to the gym for a month and a half or longer. And it's funny that you say make time for her to support her thing. I've had to adjust my finances to find space to afford for her to go to like Lifetime Fitness. Yeah. Which is it's a spa resort.
It is. So it's nice.
I'm a PFit guy.
Nah, me too.
Dude,
that's what I do.
It's got everything I need. I don't need anything. I don't need like to get my foot massaged while I'm on the bench press. Nope. I'm fine. Yep. So like I do PFit, and we were both going to Planet Fitness forever. But Lifetime has a daycare. You pay.
That's invaluable.
I'm telling you, man. So it cost us, and then through my job, I actually get a discount to go to Lifetime Fitness. Really? So it cut the cost down, but it's still costing us almost $200 a month. So I had to like
that's high.
That's so freaking high, dude.
But
the gym is incredible. It's worth it.
Yeah. I mean the daycare part.
Yeah, because the daycare too. The daycare and the other options for her too are just insanely. They're amazing. The amenities are incredible.
It's got a pool, probably.
Dude,
sauna,
one pool. Dude, it's got outside pool, inside pool, lap pool. It's got a pool for anything you need. That's dope. It's so amazing. Hot tubs, it's got everything. So you get 2 hours of daycare. So
that's great.
You go in, you have to sign up ahead of time, drop the baby off. Yeah. You go, and I told her too, and the first time she's gone was yesterday. Was her first time going.
Did she enjoy it?
Loved it. Okay. So, and just the ability for her to go there, get 2 hours, even if she's just going there, they have a cafe. Yeah. So they have a cafe area where you can just sit there and get on your computer for 2 hours. She can go do anything. She can go just chill in the pool, go to the sauna. And I told her, it's like, I want you to use this to the best of your ability to make use of this money. And I know she will responsibly, so she's going to work out. She's going to do that stuff too. But if you just need some time to just relax and not have to worry about the baby,
absolutely,
go to the cafe, go chill, go sit in the hot tub. Like, take that time for yourself. I'm really proud that I'm able to provide that for her, to give her that time, because that's one thing you just got to recognize when you're in these situations is like, just because they're at home all day, it doesn't mean it's an easy day. No, it is not a day off.
It is not a day
off.
And
you get that.
I get
times two, because you're doing both things. You're doing both.
Yes, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at your day, like whether you're at home or you're at work, there's X amount of things that have to get done. They just have to get done. So you have to figure out a way to do them, you know? And as long as you two, just listening to you is just, I'm happy for you as your friend, you know, but it's great to hear, you know, it's a success story. You know, the fact, as long as you two are grateful for each other, you'll figure it all out, you know, as long as you're that team, you know, and it's, I think I could have done a better job at maintaining my teammate, you know, I was married for 14 years and then another 7. I've been single for 6 years. I haven't had a girlfriend, but the gratefulness, it seems like you're both grateful for each other, because the second that you start resenting anything, it's like it just grows.
It festers.
Starts small.
It festers. It grows. And you know, I've seen that same thing in other relationships as well, like that I've had, where just like that little bit of resentment, just it's so hard to get over it. It's just a scab, and you just pick at it, and it gets worse and worse and worse.
Sometimes there's not a way to fix it.
No, yeah, and you know, I get what you're saying when you're saying like you could have done more to help your partner out as far as like that maintenance, but you can only do so much, man.
Yeah,
like you can't fault yourself for that when there's a line where you've given enough.
Yeah.
And you can only give so much before they've taken everything from you.
You know, it's one of those things where no matter how much you've given, when you find yourself like, I was listening to some science guy talk about physics, as I usually do. Well, he's one of them. He's not very bright. He's
the science guy.
That's technically correct.
Name, so.
That's technically correct. Yeah. I was listening to some science guy talk about, you know, physics and the universe and why are we here? What's their purpose? And he's like, you know, he was 20. He's talking about going to college and understanding more and more about the vastness of the universe and how small we are. And what's the significance? Why are we here? What is the point? If our planet were to cease to exist tomorrow, would the rest of the universe notice? And then he's like, so I was trying to find purpose and meaning in life, and I was certain that there is none. And then he's like, and then I found love. And then all of a sudden, all the colors in the world looked different. I started having children. They mattered. So the future mattered. What I did mattered. The steps that I took mattered. All of a sudden, I had purpose again.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It gave me the conclusion that without a relationship that leads to children, this is just a personal opinion, we're not going to realize our true purpose. I don't think I've truly met anyone who's chosen not to have kids who could have and live their life and are on their deathbed that are like, you know, I'm glad I didn't have children. Said no one. You know?
No, I agree with that. I think because when you first started that sentence and that statement, I was thinking, there's no purpose. Why does there have to be a purpose? And I still think that there doesn't necessarily need to be a purpose. I think it's very egotistical to believe that you're special. I'm a Fight Club kid. Like, you are not a unique and special snowflake. You know, you are not your khakis.
Yeah.
Like, I live by that philosophy, and I truly do not think that we're special in any sense of the word.
We have to find our purpose.
Yeah.
Individually.
You create it, right? Yeah. So I do see how some people can go through life with no family and think they've lived a full life. But I would be surprised if, like you said, on the deathbed, they're like, well, I did it. I did life.
Yeah. And
I did everything there was to do in life, but you didn't.
You didn't.
And so that's one of the things I think about too, even with my little girl. It's like, this is an experience. This is a part of the human experience.
Absolutely.
It's a piece of the puzzle that completes you as a human.
Yes.
And I don't want to say it's your duty, but like as a member of a species, it almost is your duty to carry it forth and continue the species.
It's almost like not playing the final boss in a game.
Yeah, it is.
You know?
That's exactly it. You get to the last level and you're like, yeah, I'm done.
You're like, I did all the cool stuff. I got the high
I did
score.
all the side quests. You know, I did all the things.
It's okay. I didn't beat the big boss. I won't regret that.
Man.
No, that won't bother me.
That would eat at me forever, right? That's a good point. Yeah, it's just such a key part of being a human. It's part of the experience.
Well, I have a plan for my ideal, because we're all going to die. And I talk about this with my kids, and some people are like, you're morbid. I'm like, no, it's just the truth.
You need to be ready.
You have to be ready.
Yeah.
And I feel like the same way that I tell my oldest son, by the time you're 18, our friendship and your age has to match like this. So at 18, we are best friends and have all the respect, and you're an adult. By the time, hopefully, and I don't know when I'll die, but I want to get to the point where I'm almost already there, where I'm getting close to my death and I've like accepted it all and I've planned it out and I'm okay for it. I don't want my kids to, they're going to be sad either way, but I want them to understand that death is just as much a part of life is part of death. Yeah. It's all a cycle, you know, and it's not necessarily sad. It has to happen, and that one day they will die. And they will, you know, and
that's a hard lesson.
It's deep.
And once again, always the pragmatic mindset is, even though that's a philosophical lesson that you're preparing them for, there's always a financial side too. And then a just kind of systemic side of it. Like, how does death work in a society? Like, what do we do? How do you do, like, pay for a funeral? How do you take care of a person on their deathbed, hospital bills? Do you go to a nursing home? Do you not go to a nursing home? Like, what are your advanced directives? Do you want to be, are you DNR? Are you DNI? Do you know what DNI is? What is DNI?
I don't know.
Nope, that's not it. DNI
is... Do not inject? No.
Intubate. So
intubate.
Getting the breathing tube down your throat.
COVID terms.
Not
kind of.
I
That's
guess.
Where I first heard it.
Yeah. It's intubation. It was around a lot with the COVID, but I mean, it's something I see every single day.
Oh, because you work with it.
Yeah. So when someone's intubated, you're just on a mechanical vent that breathes for you.
I wouldn't want that.
And that's something you have in your advanced directive, because otherwise they're going to get there. And I swear, man, like, there's so many people that are not prepared. They have not done an advanced directive or a living will.
I've never even heard advanced directive.
Advanced directive, yeah, or a living will. So it's different. You prepare it with a lawyer, or there's actually websites that do it too for you.
I have an attorney website that does it for free. They've offered many times.
You should do it because that's a part of being prepared for that situation, and it's a part of taking that pressure off your kids, because you don't want to be in the hospital and have them put in a place where they have to decide whether you live or die.
I don't want them to be in a place where they have to decide also between sacrificing their children and their relationship with their wives potentially to care for me in a way that could be destructive for their lives.
And that also includes their finances. Like, how much of their finances are they going to have to put towards your health?
Yeah. So or their time or living with them.
Yeah.
Like
but that's the thing, that as far as like their time and you living with them, that's not necessarily a bad thing. And we talked about that with a lot of different cultures.
Yeah.
Lots of different cultures, you know, like the grandparent or the parent is expected to come live in the household and die in that household.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's something that is sometimes preferable to dying in a nursing home.
It would be for me.
Yeah, that's what you want. And the way you describe like your 5-bedroom house, your cul-de-sac dream, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're living with your family until you're no longer living.
Yes.
But you need to have things prepared for them to be able to do that. So, you know, that brings me to life insurance, advanced directive, DNR, DNI.
Yeah.
You need to have that stuff in place so that when that time comes, they know what kind of decision to make. But not just life insurance. You also need to have special insurance for, like, I have coverage through my company to where I can contribute a certain amount for short-term disability and long-term disability, which will afford a certain amount of time to be spent in long-term acute care places or skilled nursing facilities or nursing homes to cover if I become injured in a way where I can't take care of myself.
That's really thoughtful in advance.
Yeah, so I'm paying for that right now, even though I'm 40, right? But anything can happen at any time.
Anything.
I've seen so many, especially this year for some weird reason, I've seen a lot of people in their 30s and even some in their 20s that were having strokes.
Yes.
And that is life-changing, man.
Yeah, especially males over 40.
Yeah, lots of males and cardiac issues, all these things. And it's younger and younger all the time. So it's the sooner you get that stuff in place, the better.
I currently only have like 45,000 in a life insurance policy. It's not nearly enough, but
there's better ones out there too. And I think I have like 3 different life insurance policies. Like,
you are super prepared. I love that.
I'm always prepared, man. I'm ready to go.
You ever heard the term Semper Firmata?
No.
It's the Coast Guard. It means I think it's Latin for always ready.
Always ready.
That's their mantra.
That's a
always
good
ready.
mantra for a useless society. If a whale gets beached, Sempre Pranata. But I think that's super important. But it also, like, everything comes to finances. So it's what you can afford.
It does.
If you can afford that kind of stuff, and I'm lucky that the place I work for provides a certain level of that, I'm still paying money.
Yeah.
It's coming out of my paycheck, and so
Yeah.
I'm having to make those sacrifices so that she doesn't have to in the future. That also comes to what we talked about with financial planning for them, the different accounts that exist that you can invest for your children.
Yeah.
And when do you do it? Which one do you choose? Like the 529 account is one that's very common, where it's just for like a college education. Those funds can also be used for other educational needs, like in high school. Like you can like pull withdrawal funds from it
Really?
when they get to high school. Yeah, for like school supplies, things like that. As long as it's all geared towards their education, you can make withdrawals from this fund.
Tax.
Yeah.
Penalty free.
Penalty free. Yeah. So that's what's so cool, and just it's what's so cool, but also so like intimidating about the whole thing is there's the kind of knowledge barrier to these, and I had to do tons of research, and I still don't feel super confident on the accounts I want to open for her. But I'm definitely going to do something this year where I make investment accounts for her. I think I'm going to do a 529, and I think I'm going to do I think it's a UTMG or UTMA account, something like that, where it's just an investment account. So it's just like a general investing where I invest in like I could put $1,000 in there on Google today. Now imagine if someone would have put $1,000 on Google in your account when you were born.
In 2008, they would have $1 million.
Exactly.
So I was just looking at it the other day.
Oh, is that real?
That's accurate.
See, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So like I was born in 84. So then by 2008, if my dad would have put $1,000 into Microsoft, anything like that, can you imagine?
You'd be a billionaire.
Yeah. Even when those companies like if more like established things like GE, so things that were like in the 80s that hidden, like not really internet related. Yeah. But like right now, there's so many of these like the FANG accounts, the Facebook, Apple, Netflix, Google, all that stuff. Yeah. Tesla is a big one. Amazon's huge. Amazon's always a win.
I got some.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. And so I think choosing one, even if you just chose one of those, and it's like, here's $1,000, and my daughter is 6 months old right now. When she's 18, if I didn't put anything else in it, $1,000, she'll have a lot of money, man.
I just had a friend, a very dear friend, I won't say his name, but his mother passed away at 70-ish. She started investing, and for his future, he didn't know it. He's like 44. She died, and she put all of her money in some basic some safe stocks. Because if you look at the Dow Jones, outside of like all that, if you go from 1900 to here, there may be dips, but at the end, it's up.
It's always up, yeah.
So whatever you can put in and saving over time, and I really want to be able to leave something for my children. At this point, I don't know if I'll be able to.
Well, there'll be a lot of Under Armour shirts and some Oakleys.
Sunglasses. Wait till you see my collection upstairs.
I am very nervous.
I have a display case.
I know you do. God. You're like, if I only had money to put towards investments, wait till you see my Oakley display case. Gosh, where could I ever get the money to give to my children? But wait till you see my Oakleys.
They're going to be wearing some cool Oakleys.
So
and be like, this is what my dad left me.
To your funeral, they're all going to be wearing Oakleys, carrying your casket.
I like that. I'm going to put that in my living will.
In your living will. I want my boys wearing Jinkos and Oakleys, carrying me down.
They need an earbud in their ear and an Under Armour hat.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's yeah, exactly. Some cut off shirt.
They need to be holding my casket with one arm fold up.
Yeah.
It's dad's
you're buried in an Under Armour shirt, sleeves cut. Oh, man.
I like that, man. You get great ideas.
Thanks, man. If I got one thing, it's ideas and nonsense.
We've been rolling for 2.5 hours.
I'm not done, man. Are you done?
No. It's easy to talk to you.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's easy to talk to you. Like we're old friends, and we have a good vibe, man. Like,
we do. I just got to give my kids lunch.
Yeah, you want to take a break?
Well, I was thinking, do you like Chick-fil-A?
Everyone likes Chick-fil-A.
That's what I thought.
That's God's chicken.
Unless it's Sunday. And then I'm like,
then you love Chick-fil-A.
Like, why did it have to be Sunday?
Then you love it. You like it 6 days a week, and you love it 1 day a week.
I'm like, why couldn't it have been Monday?
Yeah.
Let's move church to Monday so I can have Chick-fil-A on Sundays.
It's Sunday right now.
Is it really?
It is Sunday right now. You just set yourself up.
And stupidly, you would think that was intentional.
No.
That clueless of the day of the week that it is, bro. because I don't work.
Yeah, that's it, man. God dang. Sunday,
I'm like, what
no
day is it?
Chick-fil-A. That's rough.
I'm sad now.
Yeah.